15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Week 14 kicks off tonight, and it's a doozy. Pearl, good morning. Dallas Cowboys on the road to face the Lions. We've had this one circled for a little bit because it's two teams that are kind of feel like they're going in different directions, to be honest. The Dallas Cowboys have won 3 in a row. The Lions coming off a loss on Thanksgiving to the Packers. They are injury prone. There's just injuries everywhere. And to put some numbers behind what this means for the playoffs, just to get this out on the table from the very beginning, next gen stats.
Oh, you're not using the athletic playoff predictor?
I'm not. I've abandoned them because I don't think they're right.
It was becoming a crutch, Meg. I would be honest.
Was.
I could
pivoted.
see we'd be walking around and I'd be like, "What do you want for lunch? Let me check the athletic playoff predictor."
The playoff predictor says chicken Caesar wrap. So the next gen stats I've pivoted projects that the Lions have a 42% chance to make the playoffs as it is. It jumps to 59% with a win over Dallas, but drops to 22% with a loss. From the Cowboys side of things, they have a 17% chance to make the playoffs. It rises to 31%.
You got a 33 and a third chance of winning.
31% chance to win. 31% chance to make the playoffs with a win falls to 6% with a loss.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
Manny loves to make fun of me about this, but it's true. There's this real numbers behind how big this game is tonight.
Well, I mean, listen, let's talk about the real number here. We have to watch this game, Detroit against Dallas, to support this little company called Amazon. Because
why are you guys such nerds?
I don't think anyone's tuning in for these Cowboys games. We have to watch it to make sure. Now, this is an amazing Thursday night matchup. Because you're right, the teams are going in totally different directions. It's such a critical point for both seasons because
Here we go.
I don't think Lions fans are giving up on the season despite this rash of injuries. I think they're still confident that they should be able to win this game at home. I don't think there are any nervous Lions fans about even the red-hot Cowboys coming in.
Oh, I disagree. And the Lions have been flip-flopping wins and losses going back to the loss at Kansas City. I mean, it's been anything but consistent. They were in a dogfight of a game against the Giants, just a couple weeks ago, and I thought Dan Campbell really cost them against Green Bay. And here's the other part of this thing. I think for the Cowboys, here's the question. Who do you have more confidence in down the stretch? Who would you trust more, the Dallas Cowboys or the Detroit Lions? It's possible neither of them make the playoffs. It's maybe possible both do, but I don't think so. I think it would either be the Lions. If they lose this game, I think they're trending in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, the Packers and the Bears are playing for first place on Sunday. But here's the thing. I actually trust the Cowboys more down the stretch. We said this coming into the week. I think the Cowboys are playing some of the best football of anyone in the league. And not just the Raider game, but beating your Eagles and obviously beating Kansas City on Thanksgiving. Now, this is different. It's on the road. And this is a must-win for the Lions, not to use the cliche, but this feels like their playoff lives. The problem for the Lions is this is not their only tough game here. You get past Dallas, congratulations. You got to go play the Rams. And then after that, who knows what Pittsburgh's going to do? And then you have to finish out the season at the now first place Chicago Bears. I just think it's much, much tougher for the Lions. And considering the injuries, the Cowboys feel like they're trending towards getting healthier. The Quinnen Williams trade has clearly paid dividends on that defense. Whereas the Lions now with Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable. They have injuries all over the offensive line and the defense. It feels like last year all over again.
Oh, yeah. I just think, throw that to the side. The Lions are at home. I think their fans expect them to win. They're 3-point favorites. This would be a devastating loss for Lions fans. This is a big deal. Dallas is great at home, it turns out. They did beat both those big wins that we're talking about. The Eagles and KC were in Dallas.
True.
I think it's a different animal when you're in Detroit. So, logically, yes, the Cowboys are trending forward, but you have a very desperate Lions team, the Cowboys, to be totally honest, can afford a loss here because things get a little easier after this trip. And since they have a tie, they probably have a better angle to get in the playoffs than the Lions themselves. The Lions would fall to 7-6. The Cowboys would be 6-6-1. But if they can run their last four, they're 10-6-1. And help me out with the math here, but 10-6-1 is better than 10-7. So yeah, I think the Cowboys do have an angle, even if they lose this game, to get into the postseason. Not that they're thinking that. I think both teams are really all in on this. But I feel like a desperate Lions team is dangerous here.
It has to be. If you're not going to have your best possible game plan tonight, then that's, this is not the Lions team that we've been watching over the last 3 years. It's not. And think about this for the Lions, guys. What is one of their secret weapons is obviously it's not so secret. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. It's the running game, all of that. But one of the things is you got to live or die with Dan Campbell and his risk-taking and his aggressive play calling. They have not converted on their last 7 fourth down attempts.
Yeah, I know. Well, the last one especially, where Jameson Williams basically had a touchdown and Goff threw it 2 inches to his right.
And that's the other thing. Goff, if you can get to him up the middle, then we all know that he's not the same guy. Whereas Dak Prescott, on the flip side, is maybe playing some of the best QB in the league right now. I mean, Dak has really done well. Now, they have an offensive lineman. Their offensive tackle, Tyler Guyton's going to be out for this game, but they've played games with him out before, and I think they feel confident that they're not going to stop Aiden Hutchinson, but I think they feel confident that they'll be able to get around it because what are you going to blitz Dak Prescott when he's got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb to throw to and Ferguson? Like, he's going to eat. He's been awesome against the Blues.
One thing I kind of disagree about, the Cowboys do not necessarily get after the quarterback. Jalen Hurts had an hour and a half in that pocket.
But the Lions don't really either. Dak Prescott might be able to have some time.
Yeah, and as far as what killed the Lions was Micah Parsons was shot out of a cannon the entire fourth quarter. And that fourth quarter play, the fourth down play, Jared Goff just was getting so much pressure. Yep. From all angles. The inside does bother him, but the outside bothered him too. I think Goff indoors in this game should be okay. As for Hutchinson has not been the same this year, obviously a little bit, but he's not that far off. I mean, he could be a problem for them. I feel like the narrative, everybody is expecting the Cowboys to keep going up and the Lions to keep going down, and you know how this works. Yeah. It could easily be a different game. Man, the Lions could use Amon-Ra St. Brown out there.
He's technically questionable. I don't know. I mean, it feels like a lot to ask him to play on that bad ankle. And even if he does play, what is he? Is he 20, 30% of what he could be? Is he even a decoy? So, you're right about the Lions defense. They were kind of gangbusters as far as getting to the quarterback weeks 2 through 9. But since then, I think they've had 4 sacks only over the last 5 games or so. So, listen, it's a crazy matchup. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm expecting a lot of points to be scored in this one. But I think the question is fair. Who do you trust more down the stretch? And for that, I will take the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, I didn't like the Micah Parsons trade. Everyone was split on that. Obviously, people in Dallas, you guys called us. You let us know. You loved it. We were overwhelmed and, quite frankly, a little stunned by how happy some Cowboys fans seemed to be that Micah Parsons was out the door and on his way to the Packers. Listen, I got to give Jerry some credit here. This has been a very different team. Now, I hate the process. I don't like how we went about it. I think this could have been a lot smoother and he could have just really maximized the return on Parsons, which I'm not so sure that he actually did.
Spanking himself.
Because of the timing, right?
Exactly,
right. Because
he waited too long for the trade. But Quinnen Williams looks like he has been worth every penny. Now, well, every penny. Every bit of trade capital that they gave back to the Jets. Now, is it coinciding with the fact that the Cowboys are getting much healthier on defense? Is it coinciding with rookies stepping up now? And guys just really becoming rejuvenated along that defensive line? Yeah, but I think Quinnen Williams deserves some credit for that because it can't be that much of a coincidence. He's made a tangible difference. In his 3 games as a Cowboy, they're 3-0. They're allowing 9 fewer points per game and 85 fewer yards. The third downs have been different with Quinnen Williams there. The conversion rate for opponents is way less. So I don't know, Pearl. I guess I'm giving Jerry some credit here.
Yeah.
I've given him a lot of credit over the last couple weeks. I think the Quinnen Williams trade was inspired.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you when the 2027 draft runs around. That being said, I feel like if the Cowboys get to the first round of the playoffs, which I've been on them being in the playoffs for a while, and they lose this game, then I'm not sure you're going to have that same energy. I just think that the Quinnen Williams trade looks great now, and it is a great trade, but that 2027 draft is going to be loaded, and I think there's a lot TBD about the trade. And it could be a win-win trade because the Jets didn't need Quinnen Williams, so that I have no problems on the Jets side at all about what they did. But the interesting thing is that'll be one to watch. Like, Dallas better be good next year because they don't want to have a bunch of injuries and fall in the draft and then give a really good pick to the Jets.
Well, I get that, but that goes back to them already paying Dak Prescott, right? Like, you're talking about the 2027 draft is loaded, but you're talking about from quarterback.
No, everything.
Oh, okay.
The GOAT's in that draft. Jeremiah Smith's in that draft. It's going to be the greatest wide receiver draft of all time, probably.
But we thought that about Marvin Harrison. He has not made the difference that we thought he was going to make. Yeah,
that might be true, but Jeremiah Smith, I mean, the second we saw Jeremiah and also Ryan Williams and all sorts of other guys, Cam Coleman, like this has always been known for, even from high school, as the ultimate wide receiver draft.
But that doesn't fit with the Cowboys. They've got plenty at receiver.
No. But the entire draft from up and down the line, everybody happens to turn pro next year.
I thought you were saying because of Arch Manning.
That's what the McShay and the Kuiper crew would say. Well, it's not just it's Manning, it's Lagway, it's everybody hits the draft next year. This year's draft is like we're gonna have a safety in the top 5. This year's draft is not good.
Yeah, well, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476 is Manny's team is going to have.
You're going to draft a safety.
Top 3 pick.
No, this is what I dreamed
He's good,
of.
though.
Wonderful. So was Jamal Adams for like
so
50 seconds.
Yeah, you definitely want to pass on Patrick Mahomes for Jamal Adams. That did happen in that draft.
This will be Caleb Downs we're talking about, who is better than anybody. But.
Hey, with the Giants' luck, he'll probably turn into one of the worst cornerbacks in the history of the NFL. But anyway, continue with the topic at hand.
Well, the topic at hand today is the Thursday night matchup between the Cowboys and the Lions. And our question is, who do you trust more down the stretch? Is it Detroit or is it Dallas? It's a massive game. And you're right. Listen, Dallas has been a different team on the road. You know, the losses to Carolina, and they're 2-4 on the road. It's just not the same. But this has been a very different Dallas team.
Yeah, this is a fantastic game because of the desperate factor, too. Like you said, design the best plays. I mean, any player who's not giving 100% tonight, I mean, how can you not get up for this game? Dallas has all the momentum, and I think Detroit has a lot of pride. For one, they know that EJ picked them to go to the Super Bowl. That's important to the Lions players in that locker room. They don't want to let down EJ.
There's a lot going on in this game also. I don't know if it's like pride necessarily, but obviously these two teams have a lot of history. And last year, Detroit made it a point to go into Dallas and run up the score. And again, I don't know how much that really carries over from one year to the next and, you know, the personality stuff, but that definitely happened. And also, 2 years before that, they had an epic game with the, you know, did Dan Skipper report eligible? And that's still a thing. You'll also remember last year, Matt Eberflus, who's the defensive coordinator now for Dallas, this was the final game that he coached as the Bears head coach, was in Detroit last year, Thanksgiving, when they absolutely blew the game down the stretch and he got fired.
To the to somebody
else. It was
else.
Bears and Lions.
Bears and Lions. Yeah.
So there's just a lot of history. And there's a lot in between here if you want to talk about like extra motivation.
Do you remember the game before the Dez game? The Cowboys beat the Lions because they screwed over the Lions on a missed PI call on Brandon Pettigrew. That
wow.
2016, that was an amazing playoff game between those two teams.
What a goal.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's 8 years ago. That's not that long.
Some of those guys were in elementary school.
I forgot Brandon Pettigrew was a person until you reminded me.
That's a great.
Elementary school. Dak Prescott was the quarterback.
No, not Dak. I'm talking about some of the other guys.
But you guys are making it sound like I was describing the Ice Bowl that was so long ago.
Basically,
like, describing the '78 Steelers Cowboys Super Bowl. This is 2016.
You mentioned Brandon Pettigrew. It's like talking about the NBA, saying, "Oh, remember Andres Nocioni?" It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess, but.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying it wasn't that long ago. Like maybe there was several players in this game who played in that game. At least probably just one, Dak Prescott.
There you go. All right, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. The question, Who do you trust more down the stretch? Is it the Lions or the Cowboys? It is the Maggie and Perloff show. We're excited for this one today. We got a lot of news for you, both college football and the NFL. Lots of fun games this weekend for the NFL. First place on the line in the NFC North between the Packers and Bears. First place on the line between the AFC North, Steelers, Ravens. So lots to do. Aaron Rodgers defending himself to the media yesterday. It's just all there in front of us, as Aaron Boone likes to say. 888-710-4ISN. We come back with your Dallas calls next.
The great thing is it's right in front of us.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I have to issue an apology. I had the wrong year on the Brandon Pettigrew play. It was the 2014 playoffs. They did play in the 2016 playoffs too. But can I read this story again and get a little outrage going for Detroit fans?
Sure.
Anyone remember that play? It was the game before the Des Bryant catch. Detroit was driving with a 2017 lead midway through the fourth when referee Pete Morelli announced a pass interference penalty against Anthony Hitchens on a pass to Brandon Pettigrew, but officials reversed the call without explanation. And then Sam Martin had a 10-yard punt after the Lions tried to draw Dallas offsides, and Dallas goes on to win the game. And if I'm in Detroit, I'm thinking about that game tonight.
What? There's plenty of more recent stuff.
Well, that was a big, that was a huge deal. That, Matthew Stafford was hopefully had a good team for once in Detroit and didn't work out. Then in 2016, a quick trivia. Can anyone name the backup quarterback to Dak Prescott in 2016?
Oh, man.
But Romo obviously was the quarterback for 14.
2016, it wasn't obviously not Cooper Rush. He had someone else behind him. I don't know.
He is not having a good year. That is my hint. He's having a very bad year. He lost a broadcasting job.
Mark Sanchez?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, Sanchez was the backup. And Darren McFadden was on the team. That's all I got on Dallas. Let's talk about this year's Dallas Cowboys team. There's a lot more exciting going on. Although they all seem like they're part of the same documentary. They're all saying, because the names change, but it's the same drama.
I was thinking, what do you like better when things like that happen where a call gets reversed, you get no explanation whatsoever, or this phantom thing we have now with the appearance of transparency, but also at times we don't get any explanation. We had on Thanksgiving, there was you could see the referee with the earpiece in as they're changing the call while he's announcing to the crowd what the call is.
Well, at least now
who's making the call here?
New York.
I get
Roger
that.
Goodell.
Well,
I've never seen it like this where he literally turns on the mic and then you can see him taking in information through his earpiece and spitting it out.
At least it's open now. Back then, I think they had mics on. Somebody in New York's like, you better advance those Cowboys.
Oh, well, that's your conspiracy. Let's go to Jason, who's in Washington, D.C. He's our Cowboy fan in enemy territory. What's up, Jason?
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good. Let's just talk a little about who do you trust more? I absolutely trust Dallas more coming down the stretch. Mm-hmm. A couple of things. We are the hottest team right now. We've beaten the last two Super Bowl champs, without a doubt. And we've beaten them pretty good, pretty easily.
You were down 21-0 to the Eagles and had to come back. But, yeah, okay. Keep going.
That is true, but you never felt like you were out of the game being down by 21. You just never felt like it. This defense, we went from allowing teams to convert 59% of third down conversions to now converting only 39%. That's tremendous because now we're getting off the field. We're getting the ball back to our offense. We're creating turnovers. Mm-hmm. So this team is looking much different simply because I want to say Marshawn Nealon has galvanized this team. It's like they rallied around him to make it look like, or to give the impression that we're a team now. We're playing for you. And I think that's meant something. So I'm definitely trusting Dallas coming down the stretch more than Detroit.
Jason, thanks so much. Enjoy watching the game tonight. Yeah, listen, I mean, you have these horrifically tragic things that happen, and sometimes it pulls people apart and sometimes it pulls them together. I think also just the addition of Quinnen Williams and also some guys getting healthy on the defensive line.
Also, they face a tumbling Eagles team, and he's right. That game never felt like out of control. And the Chiefs are in big trouble, too, so maybe the right opponents.
Let's go to Tyrone's in Dallas. Tyrone, who do you trust more down the stretch, Cowboys or Detroit Lions?
Good morning. First of all, I want to say to that last caller, yes, all us Cowboy fans' stomach, our heart within our stomachs when we went down 0-21 to the Eagles. So let's not play like we all knew that we was gonna come back. None of us thought we was gonna come back. Second of all, I trust the Cowboys more than Detroit only because the injuries in Detroit. You got Ragnow who retired, who tried to come back. He can't pass his physical. You got the receiver Arnold. I think he's going to be out for the year. Laporta's not there. Penny Sewell got a injured shoulder. So it's only the injuries the reason why Cowboy fans can say that they trust the Cowboys more than Detroit right now.
Yeah, Tyrone, it's a measured take, and it's a true one. I mean, everybody on the Lions, Pearl, is on this injury report.
Yeah.
Brian Branch is questionable. Taylor Decker is questionable. Glass now is questionable. So that's guys on the offensive line. Penei Sewell, is questionable. Amon-Ra St. Brown is technically questionable. I would be stunned if he's out there. And then you've got other guys, a bunch of guys who are out, including Kirby Joseph and others.
And if Decker's on the field, you could see him limping last week when he played Green Bay. So we'll see how healthy he is as well. And Arnold's a cornerback, obviously. Yeah. The Laporta injury, oh my God, is that huge for the Lions? That guy is, I think, one of the most underrated players in the NFL. And they need big plays out of him, and he's not going to be there. Yeah, I mean, the guy's exactly right. Detroit is struggling.
Which is funny because, if you were praising the Dallas defense, and the defensive line has obviously gotten much better, but the linebackers are still sus, as the kids say. So,
we're against the Eagles.
But to have I think your backup tight end is also out. So
Overshawn being back, though, helps a lot of that.
That could help, but these are places where you could really take advantage, right? Trying to get Jahmyr Gibbs out in space, trying to, make some plays happen with your tight ends, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. We'll see about Gibbs tonight.
They have 3 backup tight ends who all look exactly the same, and you throw it at them, like, wait, who's that guy? But they're not as good as Laporta, obviously.
You don't think Anthony Ferkser is as good as Sam Laporta? You can't get that analysis.
Is he the next? Isn't there another guy, too, named Wright or something?
No, Ross Dwelly. Yeah, Brock Wright, he's out.
Oh, he's out, too?
He's out, too. The backup's out.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Not good. Chris is also in Dallas. Chris, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. First off, I was at that Romo Cowboys-Lions playoff game.
Yeah.
Great job by the refs picking up that flag. But I digress. But I got more trust in the Cowboys. I agree with our last caller. When we got down 21-0 as a 32-year-old Cowboys fan who's seen nothing but heartbreak my whole life, nobody thought we were going to come back and win that game. But we're rolling right now. We're hot. Nobody's playing better than Dak Prescott right now. We've got a complete team at this point following the trade deadline. And I like Dallas tonight. And if we win tonight, I think we got a shot to run the table and get into the playoffs.
Yeah, Chris, you certainly do. Thank you for that call. This is there were these 3 games that you kind of circled as a Cowboy fan, right? It was the game against the Eagles, the game against the Chiefs, and now this game against Detroit. And then things lighten up a little bit as far as games you're going to be favored in and all of that. If you get past this, if you're Dallas, you are no doubt the hottest team in the NFL. And I think unless you stub your toe, you have a real shot to make the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. Crazy. You don't even need a win tonight because you can get the 2 wins at home in the next 2 games, and then all you have to do is make sure that the Commanders and the Giants don't play spoiler. And let's face it, the Commanders, even with Jaden Daniels, that defense has struggled. Dallas has no excuse to lose that game.
Over under tonight, 54.5.
I'd go under on that because Dallas's defense, as you described, is much better.
But I think that the Lions know that they have to put up at least 30 to win, no?
Yeah, yes,
both teams probably think that.
Right, so both teams, if it's 30 to, what do you need to get? 24, so that's 54. Okay.
Carry the 1.
That's still a lot of points. I just think Detroit is, what's their best weapon tonight? The run game. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. So I think that they're not going to really, if Amon-Ra St. Brown's not out there, and how are you getting to 54? And I think Dallas is going to do the same thing. They're going to want to run the ball. But I could be absolutely wrong. It is indoors, and it's Thursday. It's
I feel like Dak's going to be throwing it all around.
41-38.
This feels like blowout city. I'm not sure from who.
On which side?
I'm not sure from who.
Oh.
I'll be honest. I know that sucks, but something tells me that, I think I lean Cowboys come in and make a massive statement and like, oh crap, maybe this team is really, really good. But then the Lions are also a team backed into a corner, and I do wonder if we're like jumping the gun a little bit on all this Dallas love. I mean, the only road game they won in the streak was against the Raiders. And I just think you got to throw that game out.
Yeah.
And then they had they benched their two best receivers the first drive, and they still won by 20-something points. I mean, but I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think this is one of those like fights where you have like a second round knockout. You're like, somebody's going to get knocked out in the second round. I'm not sure who. But I don't think this is a close game tonight.
Because you think they both come out throwing haymakers. Like, both teams realize they need to get off to a fast start.
I think you're going to see people trying to make big plays early, and someone's going to jump out to an early start. Either the Lions are going to be playing catch-up all night because they make some early mistakes, especially with Dan Campbell possibly going for it on fourth downs, trying to make a statement of his own with the Lions. Or I think the Cowboys, who are playing some great football, are going to take advantage of a Lions team that is absolutely depleted.
Let's put the poll question up. Who do you trust more down the stretch, Lions or Cowboys? And do you think, as EJ said, it's going to be blowout city, which sounds like not a fun place to hang out. Blowout City sounds like it sucks.
Unless you're doing the blowing out.
Let's get to Bogus, who's got the latest headlines.
Guys, good morning. Those headlines sponsored by Prize Picks. On Prize Picks, you simply pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. Download Prize Picks and use code PRIMETIME.
Don't forget, you know I had 2 sons, right?
And get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Here is what we know right now about Giannis. He is still a Milwaukee Buck. What we don't know, does he have 2 working legs?
Giannis dancing in the mid-range, finding a cutting AJ Green.
And that's the key. Giannis is down, Lisa. Doesn't look good.
Snitches get stitches.
Does not look good. He went down and immediately summoned for the trainer.
He was grabbing at that right leg initially, it looked like.
Yeah, it's a right calf strain for now. An MRI is coming, but the Bucks say they've already ruled out an Achilles injury. As for the Shams report that the Bucks and Giannis are now discussing his future, which could lead to a trade, here's Doc Rivers.
There's been no conversations. I want to make it clear just for I would say one more time, but for the 50th time, it clearly is not getting to one network, for sure. Giannis has never asked to be traded, ever.
Oh, the spin doctor
I
is
can't
back.
make that more clear.
In his defense...
Didn't mean to jump him there.
What's the spin? That the technicality of Giannis never asked for a trade? That somebody else has asked for a trade? Okay.
Definitely. We knew back in August that he wanted to go to the Knicks. So he said he was going to give it, the first, or he didn't say this, but the insider said he was going to give it about 25 games, and it's been about 25 on the nose.
Let's go, Knicks!
And here we are. Oh, I'm so happy the spin doctor's back. We haven't done Doc Rivers telling lies at the podium. No, I mean, he's
between that and Antetokounmpo, we're going to have a lot of fun in the next however many long months he's with the Bucks, or weeks, maybe.
Antetokounmpo is one of the best.
My fear is the second you say any team or anybody says it's not an Achilles injury, like the next scene in the movie is always an Achilles injury. Like
right.
we're like 10 for the last 10 on possible Achilles injuries, turning into full-blown Achilles injuries. Yeah, and the way he went down, that was my first thought.
Well, to me, that was the spin, because Doc was saying it wasn't a non-contact injury because he got bumped on a driving to the baseline to make that pass, and so he was off balance. But he takes 3 steps and then actually gets shot in the leg and just drops to the court.
Right, which is often really
would
the
certainly
worst
look like a non-contact, no matter what happened to him along the baseline 25 feet away.
I'm going to be honest, when I saw the injury, I thought it looked almost fake. And I'm not accusing him of anything. It just looked so awkward the way he went down. It looked like
fell down,
like a flop, if you will. And I'm like, all right, so the day that it comes out that he and his representatives are talking to the Bucks about a possible trade,
she put on her tinfoil hat. That's
maybe he doesn't want to play anymore because maybe he doesn't want to get hurt to lower the possibility that he would get traded. But if this is real, then...
all right, Terry Rozier.
I'm sorry.
Well, you'd have to go then...
I didn't bet his props, thankfully.
You'd have to go a step farther, though, and tell me then how Thanasis is a great actor, because he was on the bench and he was concerned for his brother. They cut to him right away.
Well, he's a phenomenal actor. He's been cosplaying as a basketball player over the last 5 years.
Well said.
Brilliant.
The Bucks won this game, by the way, despite Giannis getting hurt very early in it. 113-109 over the Pistons. Jericho Sims checking in with 15 points and 14 boards for Milwaukee.
No way.
Stunned.
That's 100%.
I couldn't get him on Prize Picks. I was really bummed about
No
it.
wonder Giannis wants to leave, man. He's got Jericho Sims out there getting doubles for him. Come on, man.
Elsewhere on the divorce circuit, the Clippers won in Atlanta 115-92, ending their 5-game skid hours after sending an apparently unhappy Chris Paul home. Cooper flagged 22 in the Mavs 118-108 win over the Heat, and Jamal Murray hit 10 threes, scored 52 points in the Nuggets 135-120 win in Indiana. Colts corner Sauce Gardner did not practice yesterday. NFL Network says he will likely avoid short-term IR for that calf injury he suffered Sunday. The Ravens signing tight end Mark Andrews to a 3-year extension reportedly guarantees him $26 million.
Later, Isaiah Likely.
South Florida hiring Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline as head coach. Hartline will stay with the Buckeyes through the CFP. And Alex Ovechkin did some scoring last night in San Jose.
Chikrin from center point, lets it go, rebound, Leonard, the chip in front, and Ovechkin scores again. It's his second. It's a power play goal for Alex Ovechkin, and the 911th of his NHL career. The Capitals blowing the doors off. It's 5-0 Washington.
Blowout City in San Jose, one might say.
I was going to say, it's
John
Blowout
Walton's
City.
voice.
It sounds like a place that Batman has to save from the bad guys. They've overrun Blowout City.
You have 24 hours before 10 bombs go off on Blowout City.
Meanwhile, living in a house of one woman and one teenaged female, blowout made me think about hair appointments.
That could be. Or
yeah.
just clearance sales.
Right, yes.
Wow, I got to get my mind out the gutter.
Get a different algorithm, Manny.
I'm confused. What were you thinking
I
of?
was thinking more like Riley Reid.
So I'm even more confused now.
Cannot believe you said that name on national radio.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Very good. Very good. You don't.
Good.
Don't Google it.
Not on these
computers.
Is it a man or a woman? I'm going to guess it's a woman.
lady. Yeah, it's a lady.
All
Very
right.
talented lady.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're a pig.
Sorry.
We got to get Manny a girlfriend.
Yeah, and again, I apologize for suggesting that one of your accomplished, attractive friends should have ever talked to him. My bad.
My friends are in their 40s.
I know. I wanted somebody.
Maybe he's 28.
But
It's not going to work.
First of all, age is just a number.
Yeah,
True.
what did Bill Belichick tell you that?
No, Spotify told me that yesterday. Spotify Wrapped. I saw some people who were in their 20s that had the age of their music listening, 72.
Oh, well.
John Jastrzemski. Sorry, John.
40-year-olds are cool. I see them all the time at the gym. I don't have the stones to go up to them and talk to them and ask them about their 401k or anything. But.
Yeah, Manny needs a mature woman. He doesn't need a similarly aged girl who's lost in the weeds as well.
No, the question is, does a mature woman need Manny?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, not a chance.
Some might.
Not a chance.
All right.
You should go to the Knicks parade because there's a lot of well-off 40-year-old women after they
that
beat
was
the
a
Hawks.
good idea.
When we win the NBA Cup, I'll definitely be down there for the parade.
Oh, God.
They're going to have a party, aren't they?
Yeah, I hope not.
They'll raise a banner just like the Lakers.
Well, yeah, they'll raise a banner, and I won't be happy about it because, raise an NBA Finals one first.
Most importantly, do not date a woman who takes the in-season tournament seriously. That's rule number one. Sorry, EJ.
Andrea,
Sorry, rule number 2 will be finding a woman that actually takes it seriously.
There's got to be a couple.
Maybe they like the funny-looking courts.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You'll be lucky if you get a woman who knows 2 out of the starting 5 of the Knicks. Can we just start the bar a little lower?
A lot of Villanova grads.
No,
will
you
know.
need to know the entire rotation. Are you drunk? I have to know. I have to know for a fact that you know that Miles McBride used to play quarterback in high school.
Yeah, you needed to be able to laugh at that Thanasis Antetokounmpo joke. You need a woman for that.
If you do not
Former Knick Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
If you do not appreciate Tyler Kolek minutes, then you're not the one.
Oh, 100%.
EJ in the pre-production call last night said So do you guys want to talk about, does Giannis make the next team he's on an instant title contender? I'm like, oh, geez, are we already starting it? But then after the injury, I noticed the energy's a little calmer over there.
I'm not sure he's going to be a Knick. I'm actually really not banging on that.
If he's a Knick, I'm out.
I'm not. I don't think.
Why? That's not the most villainous place he can go.
No. Of the show. Assume that trade announcement is also my resignation letter. I can't.
I get it.
Let them have something
I'll
nice.
I'll co-sign both.
Oh, God, you guys are cowards.
Well, I mean, they don't want us to be happy, man. That's the thing. They want us to be miserable young men for the rest of our lives. That's what these old people want.
I mean, so sad. Bugs, would it be interesting? It'd be consistent though. A player in his low 30s, huge salary, comes to Knicks, gets injured.
Yeah,
that's happening, guys. Are you ready for it?
You realize Joel Embiid is your franchise player, right?
Joel Embiid is still being paid by the. Is Joel
and Paul
Embiid still
George
being
now.
He's getting paid like it.
They're getting paid still by the Sixers?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Gosh.
We had, if you want to talk about big three, let's talk about the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jared McCain. The big three.
Are you
VJ Edgecombe 6 months ago?
You want to know the funny
I had to
part?
talk you off the ledge when they drafted that guy.
The funniest part about this whole thing is that Daryl Morey, the general manager of the Sixers, has never met a superstar trade that he didn't fall in love with, and it's possible Giannis is coming your way, Pearl.
Oh, I love that.
I haven't heard that.
With a bad calf? Oof.
Perfect.
That bad calf is a real issue here.
Or it's fake. I'm just kidding. I'm not accusing. I'm not accusing him of that. It just looked very, very weird. No? Is anyone going to back me up? It looked awkward.
No, I thought he felt like a rock as well, and I was like, that looks a tad suspicious, but I'm not going to call him out and say that's fake. Good Lord.
Happens, though, when you hurt your calf. I remember when Shaq and the Celtics pulled his calf. I mean, he looked like he got shot like...
He was 40.
I know.
Shaq, 700 pounds.
Saying, though, it looked similar.
He was probably 32, by the way, and just looked 40.
Shaq got so mad at Sports Illustrated when he was with the Cavs, not the Celtics. So one of those other later stops, they put him on the cover with just a close-up of his face, and he looked kind of old. Like, it just wasn't, for what we're used to. And it just was not like a particularly flattering photo. Do you remember this, Pearl?
No.
So we go to interview Shaq from the SI video side of this to do an interview where he was doing a promotional tour for something. I think a video game. I'm not sure. And he was so mean to us. It was so weird. We're like, Shaq's here. Let's do some fun, cool. This is Shaq. And he wouldn't give us the time of day. These short answers. He was not fun. He was not in the mood. And it was only after we were packing up to go, we're like, man, what did we do to Shaq? Like, this is all the plans we had got totally busted. He was so standoffish and like not him at all. And after he goes, tell everybody back at Sports Illustrated, thanks for the stupid photo. And we were just like, that we have nothing to do with that. We're not the magazine, we're the website. Had we known.
Do it again, Chuck.
Sorry, was I airing dirty laundry there?
No, I didn't say so. I'm going to knock your ass out.
That was a live shot of what Shaq was telling
He
Maggie
was so
10 years
not
ago.
into it. I was so bummed.
Play him if you want to.
But I get it. It was a bad photo. I probably would have done the same thing.
I mean, you had a book not published.
Oh, my God, the book. I've got an update on that. Oh, my God. The book where... do I have to go back through that?
Now I got to hear about this.
So someone who I know is writing a book about people who are in creative fields who have to keep... It's called creative endurance. So people have to consistently be delivering on creative things. So save your jokes about our show to yourself. But they asked to talk to me. And instead of doing photos of the people they talked to, they did drawings, cartoon drawings. And I look like a meatball.
Oh, right.
No.
I remember that
I say you
one.
look like Caillou, but that's my opinion.
That
doesn't help a lot.
No.
Caillou's nice.
Yeah, but Caillou doesn't look like Mags. That's the problem.
I thought it was
I showed you guys
harmless.
and you burst out laughing. It
I
is
understood
terrible.
your objection.
Caillou looks more like Peopleati.
Meanwhile, I wrote to the dude and said like, hey, ha ha ha, doesn't really look like me. Anyway, the book's coming out very soon.
And the picture wasn't changed?
Nope.
Can we get a copy?
Sure, you probably get a signed copy.
Hell yeah.
Not by me, but by him.
No, what's the point?
Listen,
All right.
Caillou-inspired drawings of Maggie are going to fly off the shelves.
That's what I
Trust me.
live for.
It looks like my real life dimensions would be 4'10", 250.
So fullback-ish.
I'd love for fullback. That's Danny DeVito
It's like Khalid El Amin.
on my best day.
It's like Mrs. Puff.
Yeah. All right. We got to take a break. 888-710-4ISN. Folks, thanks so much. Coming up, this is going to be deliciously awkward if it happens. We'll break it down next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Celtics. 36.
Why 36? Oh, that's how many points you had like in a month.
No,
It's Maggie and Perloff.
All right, Cavaliers. 33.
Why 33? That's how many points you had in 2 months.
On the Infinity Sports Network.
Talking about the end of Shaq's career where he bounced around a little bit, Pearl. Phoenix, Cleveland, Boston. Am I forgetting one?
Oh, yeah. Feels like there were more in there, right?
Anyway, got into that last segment, rather. Meanwhile, how about this for something that could be amazingly awkward? Hall of Fame finalists for Pro Football Hall of Fame, Pearl, came out. Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft both together in the same class. And obviously, you would feel like that would make a lot of sense. But the way that things have gone over the last couple of years, it feels like now they're kind of sworn enemies.
You know, are they, though? What was that thing where Robert Kraft admitted he would build a statue of Belichick?
They say that.
They kind of
I don't
seem to
see
go
a
back and
statue.
forth.
I see a Tom Brady statue. I don't see a Belichick statue yet.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a Tom Brady statue there. He came out early in the season. Yeah, but he said he would. I don't know. Brady and Belichick have obviously had tension too at 2019, and they seem fine. I don't know. Time heals all wounds. You know, Brett Favre was welcome back to the Packers. I'm not so worried about it. You think it'll be a big, awkward thing?
I do, and I actually think that Robert Kraft's going to throw his weight around to make sure this doesn't happen because I don't think that he wants his moment to be overshadowed by Belichick. Look at that whole documentary that came out. What was it called? The Dynasty, where they basically tried to almost airbrush Bill Belichick out of the dynasty, like almost like they were succeeding in spite of him. And it made it feel like it was a Tom Brady, Robert Kraft production, and that Belichick was kind of just there being a grump.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you say that, throw his weight around. Kraft's been desperately trying to get in the Hall of Fame for a decade. Everyone knows that. Are you sure that he has any weight to throw around the situation? Because he couldn't even get in the first time, or second time, or the third time. He's been trying forever to do it. I don't know if he has the luxury of deciding when he gets in.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think he'll try. I think he'll try.
Also, from a travel standpoint, a lot of New England fans can just go to Canton on the same weekend. And I don't know if that's a consideration, but it would be nice.
Just like get it both in one foul swoop type of thing?
Well, yeah, because you know how those, there's only so many hotel rooms in Canton for that weekend in early August. You just get all your Patriots fans. Then, boom, you're done.
Dynamite.
And they get Brady in, 3 years? How long has Brady been gone? 3 years from now, you have Brady?
No, I think it's less. Has he been retired for at least 3 years?
This is his third year of retirement, yeah.
Because he's been broadcasting for 2 years.
Yeah, he had a gap year.
Meanwhile,
so in 5 years he'll be eligible. So 3 years from now, you have Brady. Assuming he makes it, I would vote for him.
How big of you? Meanwhile, there's
he's
some gossip.
Calling the plays, but she's calling the shots. It's time for As the Tar Heel Turns.
I'm sorry for jumping you.
That's okay. Meanwhile, the gossip that's going on with North Carolina and Bill Belichick, Pearl, we don't let anything by us. It turns out that Jordan Hudson has made some FOIA requests. So Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, is how you can request documents from people who work for the state, the government, anything like that. These are open records requests. And it looks like Jordan Hudson is requesting emails between CBS News and the Senior Associate Athletic Director, Robbie Pickerel Evans. She wants correspondence received or sent by Dragan Mihalovic from CBS News. Email anything that has CBS News on it, anything that says CBS or 60 Minutes, and any correspondence relating to an interview request for UNC head football coach Bill Belichick. She wants the emails, Pearl.
Wait, I don't understand.
Okay.
Why does the Freedom of Information Act apply to private emails?
Because they're UNC employees.
Oh,
and UNC
sorry, I
is a
missed that.
state
Okay.
school. Yeah. So these are subject
But why can't she just
to,
get them from UNC? Doesn't she work for the school?
No, she does not. Famously,
right.
she does not work for the school, and they don't have to hand them over to just a person who wants them. It has to go through an official channel.
So Belichick is the head coach of the team, and he can't get the emails?
No, you have to do a Freedom of Information Act.
Even in your own company?
He's an employee, just like the athletic director is.
Well, can he ask the athletic director, can you show me these emails? Like, they're coworkers. Right?
Yeah, but I think this is implying that they want to know what was 60 Minutes saying with the athletic director about that infamous Belichick interview with CBS. That's what I'm taking from
And
this.
you're saying that the athletic director is not on the same page with Jordan Hudson.
I think that Jordan Hudson wants to know what was said between the athletic director, the associate athletic director, and CBS. You don't find that juicy?
No, I'd love to see those emails. But no, I've been out on Jordan Hudson for months. I really don't care. But I do think that if I could see someone's private emails, I'd love that. There's always embarrassing stuff in there.
That's just everyone's private emails anytime, anywhere. Perloff wants to see them. All right, coming up next, the future for one superstar.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Not overstating it. Massive game tonight. Thursday Night Football. Cowboys on the road to face the Detroit Lions. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, and the Cowboys are trending up, Pearl. The trade for Quinnen Williams has been gangbusters. They've gotten healthier along the defense, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. Meanwhile, the Lions, the last time we saw them, bad loss at home against the Packers, and they've been flip-flopping wins and losses basically for 6 weeks now, and they are not a healthy football team.
Yeah, I mean, the health is the key issue. We don't even know who's showing up tonight. It's kind of hard to predict this game. The Lions are 3-point favorites. EJ said this earlier, and I said it too. The desperation factor feels like a massive deal for the Lions. Like this is the season for them. It's 7-5. If they fall to 7-6, the way their schedule lays out, then the playoffs are not happening.
Which is crazy considering that the Lions last year had the number 1 seed. And it's unfortunate they got so hurt last year, lost both coordinators. I think you have seen it a bit in the run game. You know, in the wins, when Jahmyr Gibbs is, you know, when they're winning games and he's averaging 7 yards per carry, everything looks fantastic. But in the losses, he's averaging like 3 yards per carry, and they're not able to be as creative with the run game. And Jared Goff is making mistakes because he's feeling pressured. The offensive line is all banged up. I mean, think about it. The Lions reached out to Frank Ragnow to see if he wanted to come back, standout offensive lineman, maybe future Hall of Famer. He said yes. And then it turned out he had a grade 3 hamstring strain. Basically, the hamstring's kind of like off the bone, and this guy was going to come back. That's how desperate they are for O-line help. With Penei Sewell is also playing through a shoulder injury. No. It's just like all the pressure points. Yeah, their quarterback is healthy, knock on wood, and Aiden Hutchinson is healthy, but all the other pressure points on this team feels like they're dealing with injuries or guys who are far from 100%.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. If you're a Lions fan, you have your quarterback, he's healthy. And you have Jahmyr Gibbs, and you have, I know you might not have Amon St. Brown, but you have Jamison Williams, who is fantastic. So there's no excuse not to have an offense against the Cowboys. I know Quinnen Williams, he's good, but you could still move the ball here. So I think they have a great chance. The more we talk about it, I'm leaning Lions.
Okay, so if we're asking you the question today on X, who do you trust more down the stretch, the Lions or the Dallas Cowboys? And the reason why I'm saying Cowboys here is just because I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, which like matches up pretty well here for Dallas. And I'm not saying anything's easy in the NFL, but you're at Detroit tonight, coming off of 3 straight wins, including 2 against Philadelphia and 1 against Kansas City, 1 against Philly, 1 against KC, pardon me. Then after this, Minnesota at home, the Chargers at home, at Washington, at the New York Giants. Like, that's pretty favorable, as opposed to the Lions, who have a much, much harder road after this. Like, you get the Cowboys, okay, you win this one, congrats. Next week, you're at the Rams, Pittsburgh at home, who could be very desperate as well. Then you're at Minnesota, you finish out at the Bears, who are playing for first place in the NFC North this week against the Packers. So it's just a lot harder, I think, for the Lions.
That Rams game really scares me for the Lions because the Rams are going to be fighting for something too. Because that loss the Rams had to the Panthers means that they're full on desperate too. They need the number 1 seed. They do not want to come to cold weather again this year in the playoffs. So that's going to be tough. And then at the Bears will probably be playing for something in week 18. Yeah, I worry about the Lions, especially because of the injuries. Like if they were healthy, forget it. Then I'd be like, there are no excuses. But not right now.
Well, think about also Dan Campbell's had to take back play calling responsibilities. Like it just has been there's been an adjustment since the loss of Ben Johnson. Brad is in Oregon, likes Detroit tonight. Why so, Brad?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. You know, I know Dallas is playing good ball right now, one of the hotter teams in the NFL, but it just seems like this team for Detroit is all banged up, but this is where Dan Campbell shines. I mean, his back's against the wall. It's a must-win game. And Vegas has got him a 3-point favorite at home, all banged up and everything. Vegas doesn't put a stupid line out there for just a reason for people to turn around and and make a bet. But if Vegas believed that the Cowboys were the right play, this would be a pickup game.
With these injuries, it would be closer. And Dan Campbell, you're right. I mean, he's going to have this team fired up. Whoever's out there is going to be all in, at least early in the game.
And Brad, thank you for the phone call and enjoy the game tonight. But can I bring something up about that? I think Dan Campbell cost the Lions last week against Green Bay. I really do. And I know that's the ethos, and he's always going to go for it. But you were down 10 points in the fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, okay? You could kick the field goal and make that a one-score game, and they're going for it again on fourth down when they have not had success. And I'm not saying pass failure predicts future success. I understand that's not how analytics work, and I understand they have no such thing as momentum, and there's no such thing as, it's everything is a roll of the dice. Like, it's always the same odds. I just didn't see it that way, and I think you got to play the game you're in. You're home. You're not playing well. Green Bay has the lead. To me, kick the field goal, Dan. Make it a one-score game. And they end up kicking the field goal on the next drive because they were now running up against the clock. I worry about Dan Campbell at times playing his team out of some of these potential wins. Like, there was a chance. They were not playing better than Green Bay, but there was still a chance for them to steal that game at home, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I think if you decide you're going to revert to not going for it on fourth down, like, you're at a disadvantage in today's NFL. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, if you start, it was 4th and 2 at the 20-something. And they designed the perfect play. It missed by inches. They were having trouble blocking the Packers. Like, it was not going to be easy to get a touchdown. And the only reason they got another field goal was because they got a crazy lucky penalty on a 3rd and 16. They were getting sacked left and right. You had to go for the touchdown there because they were not moving the ball in this game at all. Like, you were close enough. You designed a perfect play and it just didn't work. I think if you start turtling up on fourth down, man, you're in trouble in today's NFL.
It's not turtling up. It's taking a 2-score game to a 1-score game. How is that turtling?
In the year 2025, not going for it on 4th and 2s, that's a dangerous proposition. I think you'll end up costing yourself much bigger in the long term.
Well, I think Dan Campbell's already cost his team, I
don't know. I think he's more of a trendsetter, him and Ben Johnson. Like, now everybody is aggressive on fourth down. It works.
I understand that, but it's also, again, the game you're in. And the game they were in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago, they didn't need to be that aggressive. I'm not saying you have to sit on a lead with 25 minutes to go, but you can take the points when you already had a 3-score lead in that game, and they just couldn't do it, and it let the 49ers back into that game. And again, like,
easy, but here's a question: are you playing the result though?
I'm playing.
Josh Reynolds dropped an easy pass that was in his stomach.
I don't think so, because I've been critical of even your Philadelphia Eagles for going for kill shots, even when they do work out at times. So I get, EJ, can we throw this question out there also on X? We have one up already there, which is, who do you trust more down the stretch, the Cowboys or the Lions? So you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl. Do you consider Dan Campbell a liability or an asset? Because I think people are starting to turn a little bit on Campbell, and I'm one of them. I am. I think if I was a Lions fan, I'd be frustrated with how Campbell treats some of these end-of-game situations. So that's me.
Yeah, I mean, you were criticizing another coach for going for
Sirianni.
it. Perfect. Yeah, this week there was a...
Who did I criticize this week?
Stefanski.
Oh, Stefanski with a 4th and 1.
I mean,
good gravy.
Generally, though, you got
direct snap to Harold Fannin, who's barely touched the ball all season. This dude, that was understanding the mission.
Yeah, I think you got to be. I mean, listen, if you go to an owner and say, I'm going to start getting conservative on fourth down, you are going to get walked out of that building. Like, you got to be. I think teams aren't aggressive enough on fourth down. I think, and I know we're going to have Nick Costos on later. He agrees with me. Teams need to be aggressive. The game has totally changed, especially with the new kickoff rule. Like, it's a different football game. Like, if you start 4th and 2 is a green light.
I get it, but in a 2-score game, you're in the fourth quarter, make it a 1-score game. That's just where I stand. 888-710-4ISN. Brandon's in Chicago. What's up, Brandon?
Morning, Mags, Pearls. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to comment on the Cowboys and touch on the Giannis trade.
Sure.
But for Dallas, man, I really think people are sleeping on them. Dak is playing, I think, his best football, of his career. He looks like he's in really good shape. He's got good rapport with Pickens and Lamb. Got everybody healthy, and they got a competent running back in Williams, and then their defense is starting to come together. Detroit, they're all injured over there, and then they got the last game of the year in Chicago. It's going to be cold. Goff doesn't play well in cold. And Dallas, they have most of their games indoors. I think only 2 of their last games are outdoors. And it's against Washington and New York.
Yep.
And then for the Giannis trade, what if there was like a 3-team trade where Giannis got sent to the Knicks, and then AD, PJ Washington, and Gafford came to the Bulls, and we gave them picks, and then picks to Milwaukee as well. Maybe throw in some other players, like a 3-team trade like that.
How did AD get to the Bulls in this scenario? I'm missing something.
3-team trade.
3-team trade.
3-team trade. He's from
Dallas,
Chicago, right?
Chicago, Milwaukee, New York. That's 4 teams.
No, New York.
Oh, I thought you said Giannis to the Knicks. I'm sorry.
No, Giannis
he
to
did
the.
Say, no, he did say that.
Oh, he did.
So
Sorry.
It's 4 teams. Sorry, my
4-team
bad.
trade, Brandon.
Wait. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
4-team trade.
Listen, I can see you put a lot of thought into that, and thank you for the phone call. Dak Prescott, by the way, MVP odds. Trying to get this right now, but I believe he is.
Got to be 3rd or 4th, right?
He's 3rd.
Yeah.
So with Drake May, Matthew Stafford, and then Dak Prescott, Jordan Love, Josh Allen round out the top 5.
So if the Cowboys run the table, he's got a great case, because you got to figure Drake May has a couple harder games coming up. His numbers come down, so it could be, and Stafford I think is going to be hard to knock off, because he's got the same narrative as Dak, an older guy who's never won it.
May is a pretty healthy favorite at -135. If you like Dak Prescott, plus 1,400 would be the good odds to get it right now, especially if he shows out tonight, Pearl, then he could probably leapfrog Stafford, at least for a few days.
But May's got the Bills and the Ravens coming up, so that's the thing. I mean, the Ravens might not be any good. You have no idea, but he's facing, and the Bills' defense isn't great either, but he's facing some desperate defenses. That'll be interesting. There's a long way to go. There's 5 games left, and MVP will be a recency bias. I like that Dak bet.
Obviously, we'll get to Giannis and all the rumors now around him. The thing about Brandon called in with the 4-team trade and Anthony Davis and picks and who's going what where. I'll just say this. Those things can be kind of hard to keep track of, especially when you're just listening to it on the radio as opposed to like seeing it in front of you. But one thing that he does have correct, Pearl, is I think it's going to take multiple teams to get this done, which raises the degree of difficulty on getting it done. Not to 0, but there's no way this is going to be like a 1-for-1. I just doubt this is going to be, if Giannis really is real about putting his foot in the line in the sand, whatever, about getting traded right now, they're going to need another team to come in.
Are you talking for a salary cap, you're saying?
For salary, for picks, for, because if he's dead set on going to the Knicks, which he was last year, over the summer, then they don't have the type of assets that it's not nearly the better package that Milwaukee could get back. So
yeah, I was wondering, the Thunder seemed like they would obviously have the best package. They about 6 extra young players and all these draft picks, so they could do a 1-on-1 possibly if they want him. I don't even know if they want him.
Well, that would be a question. Do you disrupt something that's looking pretty amazing as is?
I mean, I'd be tempted if I was Oklahoma City. You could get Giannis and not give up your 2 or 3 best players, but that calf injury last night changes everything, right? Everyone's going to have to wait on that to see if he's okay and see him perform.
Okay, so we'll have a couple things. We're going to unpack everything that's going on with Giannis, all the rumors, get you up to speed on sort of where that whole thing stands and who may be calling Milwaukee today to try to set something up. So we'll get that. Plus, your phone calls. 1, who do you trust more down the stretch? Dallas Cowboys or Detroit Lions? And 2, do you see Dan Campbell as a liability or an asset? At Maggie and Pearl on X.
All right, Maggie, I know you were watching all this NBA action closely last night because of Prize Picks. It's the best time of year to play Prize Picks. The holidays are going on, but there's all kinds of sports going on, too. And you can keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. It's so simple. You pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. And there's a new thing that's awesome. Early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out on those winnings before the game is even over.
Yeah, I should have used that feature last night. I did, but I'm back on the saddle today. But I don't know why, because I'm looking at tonight's matchup, Pearl. Dak Prescott, 270.5 passing yards. I think Dallas goes into this game against the Lions and say they need to score 30-plus points is the only way they can win. So how are you going to do that? You need Dak to be throwing the ball. I know everyone loves the run game for Dallas, but Dak has to throw. So give me more than 270.5. I think Dak has a huge night tonight. And then how about our old friend LeBron James? 36.5 points, rebounds, assists. Lakers playing the Raptors tonight. Hate to do it, but I got to fade the king. These are just some of the things you can do on Prize Picks. Super fun. We're obsessed. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code M&P. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code M&P on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play just $5. So win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
And I want my damn respect, too.
You're in a 4-minute break.
Okay. I don't see anything from Billy, so I'm going to go ahead.
Well, Robin's out in San Francisco where the fog rolls in slow and grand. She still ain't forgiven Maggie for saying San Fran on the air that day. Said it cut her soul like a rusty saw and she won't let it go, no way. She called the show and said, girl, don't you shorten my city's name. Ever since then, Robin's been holding that grudge like wildfire in the rain. And somewhere back in Jersey, Peabody still not at his desk. They keep calling his name through the hallway and getting nothing but empty air. If work was a horse, he'd never saddle it, he'd just wave from the rocking chair. So here's to the chaos and the glorious flat. Infinity fell off the cliff and that was that. No merger, no rescue, no hero to sin. Just a loud, messy thumb and a God help us, amen. Robin's mad at Maggie, but Lottie ain't punched in EJ, sipping OJ Bev again. And somewhere out there, Drunkle Sam's giving thanks with a grin. EJ stumbles in with a late night craving, Taco Bell wrappers in his truck. OJ Bim in his hand like a trophy, swear he don't ever give that up. Says life's too short for water and too long for being sober past 10. He'll toast to the sunrise every morning and do it all over again. Infinity's heartbeat slowing, boys. You can hear it in the static tone. The lights flicker low like a bar sign dying. One more place we used to call home. But Belotti's a folk hero now for never showing and never caring at all. He's a legend in the union of ghosts who never punch the clock or answer a call.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I do not like the topic that is on the rundown right now.
You want to talk about Giannis?
No.
Okay.
720, Chicago is the number one seed in the NFC. Are the Bears a contender? Can they keep the number one seed? This is just a troll because I had to watch them kick my Eagles' butt.
Good.
No, this is a legit question. You got the Bears and the Packers fighting for number one seed or top of the NFC North, which is cool because this has not felt like a real rivalry in more than a decade.
I'm looking at the rest of the rundown, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's a lot of Bears are great, Eagles are bad in this rundown.
Did Manny make the rundown?
Not really, because we're going to do King of the Mountain at the top of the hour, and that's a Eagles fest.
No, it's going to be the Bears kicking the Eagles' butt again.
You don't know that?
Listen, you've been ducking that Bears topic that's been on the rundown for the last 2 days. Don't put this on me.
No. That might have been the worst tease in the history of radio.
Yeah, sorry. Maggie Perloff, King of the Mountain, comes your way, top of the hour. 1985 Bears. We're looking for the greatest team of all time. This week, 85 Bears against the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles.
I love my Birds, but they have no chance against the 85 Bears. Just like the Eagles had no chance Sunday. I got to tell you, I'm having fun here. Those Bears are super legit. That O-line blew the Eagles out of the water like they were a JV team.
Yeah, what happened? Why?
They're just the Bears can run the ball. Ben Johnson's a genius at run schemes, and the Eagles had no idea what was coming. They thought the run was going right, and the run went left. They thought the run was going left, the run went right, and they're physically got outmanned by that Bears line. Remember we talked when the Bears got Caleb Williams, they built all this stuff around him, and they paid all this money for the offensive line. It didn't do anything last year. Now it's all paying off. It's good. They are totally legit.
Well, where's Vic Fangio on this? He's supposed to be your defensive whiz. You guys got all these top draft picks. You're basically Georgia North. This was one of the most feared defensive lines last year for sure. And this year, you got a lot of the same guys back.
No, you lost.
Some you lost.
You lost Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, who are two of the best players in the NFC right now.
But you still have Jalen Carter. You've got all these. You made the trade for Jalen Phillips. I mean, you have names.
Honestly, I think it's a function of the Bears being good. I would actually spin it towards Chicago is a really good run team. They remind me of last year's Detroit team.
So, well, that would make sense because their head coach was their former offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But can they keep the number? But the difference is they're doing it with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monungai, not Jahmyr Gibbs.
I don't think it's that big a difference. I think, honestly, I've thought about this because watching the Bears, I think the run game is much more offensive line and coaching than the actual running back there. And Gibbs is great, but he's also a pass-catching weapon as well. If Kyle, Rutgers kid, and DeAndre Swift can do this, I think it proves that running is a system thing. It's not about the backs. I don't know if they keep the number one seed because they're scheduled, but generally they are not going to be a team you want to see in the playoffs. They're built for cold weather now. God bless Ben Johnson. I mean, I'm actually wildly impressed.
Yeah, disagree. I think it's definitely better. Obviously, it's better. And
disagree on which facet?
I don't think they're a true contender. You want to know why? Because the defense, I don't think, is good enough. I don't trust the defense enough.
Yeah, they statistically haven't been great.
No, they have not been great. And so for me, like when you really get into it against, Sean McVay, or if you really get into it against, who the Packers again, if they see them, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the NFC, like what if I'm Seattle? There are still some offenses that I fear in the NFC. And listen, the Bears getting home field advantage would certainly help. But there are times when Caleb Williams is great, and there's times when he's throwing the ball God knows where. That could be a liability in the playoffs. Yeah, the run game is good, but I don't trust the defense. I do not think they're going to hang on to the number 1 seed, and I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. It's a nice story moment. It's going in the right direction. I mean, you got the coach taking his shirt off in the post-game, celebrations. Obviously, the vibes are high, but they're winning some of these games, and I still don't know how they're pulling this out.
I mean, I heard this actually from Adam Schefter on his podcast. They are the 2024 Washington Commanders. So they could easily trip their way into the NFC title game, win 2 playoff games. I can absolutely see that. I lean your way to say Super Bowl feels a little rich, but I could see them getting the right matchups and absolutely advancing. I mean, they have these 2 games against Green Bay. And if they split those, which often happens within a division, then they're going to be in great position to host a playoff game, maybe in the first round. Yeah, I think they could trip their way into the NFC title game. Absolutely. Because they don't need Caleb Williams to throw the ball. In fact, they're better off when they're either running their running backs or Caleb is running. And running quarterbacks, just like last year with Washington, can be very, very dangerous.
I think the 49ers could come in and beat them in the playoffs. I don't know how it would shake out, but I could see that. 888-710-4ISN.
Yeah, but I mean, they might not play either. I mean,
I don't know how it's going to shake out. But
I don't like the way Brock Purdy's playing. I don't think they can beat them with him playing like this.
I mean, I feel like the Bears should just run it right down their throat. There's no Fred Warner there.
They can't rush the passer either. I don't know. I think the Niners might be paper tigers.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the Patriots. They play nobody.
And I also feel like I give them a better chance if Mac Jones was playing. And as crazy as that sounds, I hate the way Brock Purdy's playing football this year. I'm sorry.
He's been a little better last week, but no. I mean, honestly, he's definitely hurt.
I think what Perloff was saying last year about him was
right. He runs around like crazy.
But he's not playing like he's playing manic football. Like and there's one thing when like Josh Allen plays aggressive and he takes chances, but it feels like he's still under control in some of these games. It feels like Brock Purdy, things can teeter at any moment. I don't feel that when I feel like I see some of these other running quarterbacks. With Brock, we saw that on Monday Night Football a couple weeks ago where it could just he could just lose it. He could just lose completely. And we saw that last year too when they went into Buffalo last year and everything fell apart in the snow. I don't think he's playing championship level football.
He did a good Dougie though in the end zone.
That Dougie
was
fly.
Yeah.
That's a fly.
Does anybody? I viewed Brock Purdy completely differently after that move.
He said he usually does it in his kitchen.
So did George Kittle. George Kittle said, what did he say? God forbid a white boy gets some motion or something like that? I completely misused the term, but sure, go ahead, boys.
All white boys, Brock Purdy? I did not see.
That was shocking.
There's more to him than meets the eye.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's like, I see you, champ.
I mean, Baker Mayfield.
Made Baker Mayfield look like an awkward white boy.
Baker Mayfield could quit football and be a professional breakdancer. His dance, remember in Oklahoma? That was amazing.
Oh, yeah, when he was on the whip.
You don't think it'd be like, remember that woman who was breakdancing in the Olympics?
It'd be a lot like that.
Australian lady?
It'd be a lot like that. Like
Ray Gun.
Yeah, Ray Gun.
Oh, yes, the legend.
0.0.
Baker Mayfield definitely dances to late 80s, early 90s hip hop. Like that is his, like, yeah, no, it's totally different, but I agree. Purdy is not 100%. He's still a little bit injured. By the way, I love that we're matching up Chicago and San Francisco. There's a bunch of other teams they might end up playing.
I'm just looking
as
at
well.
the standings right now. But and actually, it wouldn't even be. It would actually be San Francisco playing the Rams if the season ended today. But anyway.
And then you got that Seattle issue out there. There's a lot going on in the NFC. But the Bears, I do disagree with you. I think that their running quarterback and running backs makes them a very dangerous playoff team. Like they could just take the air out of the ball.
Okay, we will get to the Giannis situation in just a moment, but Andrew Bogish is here with all the headlines.
Good morning again. These headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com. Whoop. Somebody's playoff probability takes a huge hit tonight on Thursday Night Football. Neither the Cowboys nor the Lions want loss number 6 in an NFC playoff picture that has 3 9-win teams in the West alone. Dak Prescott hoping to play well in a hostile environment.
Definitely looking forward to just getting back out there, going to Detroit, just having the group that we have and having to communicate in such a tough environment, but understanding we got to play physical and we're going to be a 4-quarter fight.
His team has won 3 straight to climb to 9th in the conference, 1 spot behind the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 3 O-linemen are game-time decisions for Detroit. In primetime on Monday, it's Eagles and Chargers, and Justin Herbert still planning to play even after getting a plate and some screws surgically placed in his left hand to start this week.
That's the plan, is to prepare as if I'm going to play and, see how the next couple of days goes and do everything I can to be out there for the team and for the guys out there.
I'm not sure I'm tough enough to play football.
I am. You're not.
Yeah.
What gave you that?
Last week you said you throw passes to Jeremiah Smith.
No, listen, as long as the pass rush doesn't get to me. But these guys are like, well, I'm going to go in for major surgery on Tuesday. I'll see you Saturday on the field. Like, no. It's insane. Like, people are playing with casts and everyone's, even Aaron Rodgers is out there with like 7 broken things. Like, what is going on?
Am I tripping? I feel like between Josh Allen last year, Rodgers, and now, I don't remember quarterback just playing with broken hands. It felt like
Herbert,
Yeah, Herbert. It felt like a couple of years ago, or even 15 years ago, like if your hand was broken, you were out for a month.
Well, it's the non-throwing hand, obviously, but I think guys aren't under center as much, and maybe
that could be it.
That's the biggest issue. If you're a shotgun, pistol, whatever, like it's not like you're taking the snap and you can jam your fingers.
I know he's a bad example because he got hurt a lot, but Chad Pennington broke his wrist in a preseason game. He was out for like 15 weeks.
Well,
it wasn't his throwing hand.
Yeah, that's your favorite player.
I know.
Yes, Jets.
It's a big deal not going under center for Rodgers because they want to run play action. And Rodgers, he said he's going to try and go under center this week. But that is not good. Like, not being able to, you could see him how uncomfortable it was just to get the snap on Sunday.
He didn't have like the cast that you see from some of these small. He had the cast that you signed in junior high school when you break your arm, like
immobilizing.
I thought I was going to see Jalen Ramsey, his signature on there or something.
Have a great summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Hags.
Is it okay for the Eagles to go after Justin Herbert's left hand on Monday night?
I mean, they're gonna. They're the Eagles.
True.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Have you met Jalen Carter?
Yeah, obviously.
They're an NFL team. Any team should go after. But how do you go after a left hand? That's the other thing. I mean, I don't know.
Find your helmet. Yeah, they'll find a way.
I don't know. You get your helmet on his left hand.
Yeah.
Step on it.
Step on it.
Yeah,
Definitely
step
the thing
on
I was
it.
thinking
Sure,
about.
yeah. Or do whatever Bosa did to Aaron Rodgers. Just run through his back and have him fall on it.
Yeah, this whole left hand injury makes me nervous. I feel like Justin Herbert's going to go out and throw for 350 yards.
Oh.
Sometimes that happens with these injuries. Like, oh, he's hurt, and then boom. Like, watch Amon-Ra St. Brown go for 170 tonight if he comes out
I don't
there.
even think he's going to play.
I don't think he's going to play, yeah.
It's questionable, right?
Yes. The Dallas Mavericks might be hot for the first time this season.
Left the flag, shot clock at 6 to Davis at the top of the circle, put it on the floor, drop at the flag, gathers, goes up and scores from left to right as he beat out of Bio in a timeout by Eric Spoelstra.
Chuck Cooperstein on Mavs radio. Flag had 22 in a 118-108 decision over the Heat. Dallas has its first 3-game win streak of this season.
Is this like the best NBA rookie class in a long, long, long time? Because Flag is playing pretty well, and I don't think he's rookie of the year, really. I think Con Knipple probably has a run on him. I think BJ Edgecombe, as we mentioned earlier, has had a great year. There's been some really good rookies all throughout the NBA.
It's a good class. But
It's
I mean,
a good
next
class,
year is
but
going
what
to be
about
insane.
I feel like the Paolo Banchero class has also been pretty good.
But I mean, like in their first year, though. I guess, that was another good first-year class, I guess. It just feels like they're impact players all over this class. I mean, I'm looking at it now. There's, 10 guys averaging double digits? That's not normal, I feel like, in recent NBA, at least.
Yeah, I mean, last year was Ricochet, right?
Yeah,
that was not good.
Yeah, and maybe it's against a terrible class from last year. It just feels like this year there are a lot of good players.
Next year is going to be super loaded, right? That's like
Next
a
year's
super
class
draft for the
is gonna be
NBA.
great.
Yeah, because it's a bit, again, all guys whose sons now are playing in
Yeah,
college.
True.
There's like 29 guys right now, 25, I think, sons of former NBA players.
Zachary Risache.
I mean, also,
Who's
too,
his dad?
I'm
Mr.
looking at draft
Versace.
classes. Obviously, 2 years ago, anything with Wemby in there, that's the draft class. This
Power
year,
forward, center, Victor
you don't
Wembanyama.
have. I mean, Cooper Flight's good, but he's not the
Wembanyama.
game changer.
Are we playing a new game? Just say an NBA player name and see if Peter Schwartz just messed it up on the air?
Let's see, get
Do we have time in that game? Yeah.
I'll
Sean
ask Ryder.
Lucas Alexander.
There we go. No? That's
Looks
it?
like Koch to me.
I love going back.
Oh, my God. I don't want to go back to that conversation.
It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa.
That was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, on a related note, you can never take another day off.
Yeah. On that note, I'm not going to be here next Friday, so you guys want to start planning ahead and go ahead.
Do you guys know one thing I'll always click on? I don't know if you guys are like this. Let's redo the draft from whatever year.
Yes.
That's always on there. I'm like,
Big fan.
click. I don't even know why. Like, we actually can't go back in time and redo a draft.
You have two Achilles heels.
Really?
One is the redraft, and you will also stop anything at any time, anywhere to read a mock draft for the NFL.
Yeah, but not just, I like a year ahead mock drafts now. I've already broken down the 2027 class. I'm about 15 deep. I got ridiculous.
It's a whole year ahead.
It's just like breaking down fetuses at some point.
Yeah. There's this 8th grader in Iowa that I'm hearing great things about.
Projects really well.
But wait, by the way, so I used to work at SI.com. Guess what got the most traffic by 350%?
Don Banks' backup quarterback rankings.
No, any mock draft from anyone is the most read thing. Even more, like nobody cares about what happened. People only care about what's next.
I feel like Peter King's about to bust through the door and punch you in the face.
His mock draft was the number one thing.
On the line right now.
He started doing mocks.
On the line right now is Peter King.
Peter King.
Where's
Like,
Peter King?
I did 5,000 words every Monday, and you're telling me mock draft was
Proud of my guys, Peter.
I mean, mock drafts are great because you hit the college class and you hit the team needs. So like everyone's a millionaire. Remember ESPN used to do the Next magazine? Like that was
I remember that. I used to get that.
That's all people care about. I mean, everybody watched the game. Why are we talking about that? Let's talk about who the Eagles are getting in the draft next year.
Yeah, we all can't wait for that.
The Bucks are calling it a right calf strain. Giannis hurt just 3 minutes into last night's 113-109 home win over the Pistons. The injury happening on the heels of that report that Giannis and the Bucks are again discussing the future of their marriage. Hours after their Chris Paul breakup, the Clippers broke up their 5-game losing streak, 115-92 in Atlanta. Men's top 25 action, number 6, Louisville took its first loss, 89-80 at number 25, Arkansas. And K-State football coach Chris Kleiman is retiring. The school expected to go hard after former QB and current Texas A&M offensive coordinator Colin Klein. Kleiman 54-34 over 7 seasons at K-State after winning 4 FCS titles at North Dakota State.
Bring back Bill Snyder.
Back to you guys.
Hey, I have a question. Why didn't Penn State, I know we got to hire Brian Hartline. I thought that was a possibility at some point. The Ohio State receivers coach who's now USF. I felt like Big Ten to Big Ten. You know, I'm all about geography for these coaching hires.
Yeah.
That would have been a good salvage.
Well, you want to know what? Unless I'm wrong about this, I don't think Penn State has been linked to any coordinators. It was only head coaches.
Yeah. I can't think of one.
I think maybe they feel like they can't take a risk on a coordinator.
But Hartline feels like such a known commodity in a way. He's like even a bigger name than he's a bigger name than Alex Golish.
And I think that it would have been foolish to not consider coordinator because I think everybody should be looking for the next Dan Lanning.
Yes.
Dan Lanning was a coordinator who's been a phenomenal head coach.
But if you're an AD, if you are feeling the hot seat, I don't know if the Penn State AD was feeling the hot seat. He's probably feeling it now because everyone's saying no to this job. And the latest yesterday was Jeff Brom from Louisville who said thanks but no thanks. I mean, the Louisville coach is turning you down.
Jeff Brom's turned down other people too,
That's
right?
true. And it was his alma mater, so I understand. But still, I mean, Penn State, just a few weeks ago, we thought this is the best job, one of them on the market. Then LSU opened, then Florida opened. Then, I'm stunned that this job seems to be so nuclear.
Yeah.
Like it's nuclear reactive. It's crazy.
I think these coaches are making a mistake.
Me too.
I think that you look at Penn State, I think the regional area for recruiting is awesome. The conference, you could get an Indiana schedule where you play nobody in multiple years in a row. It feels like you'll walk to the playoffs. I think these coaches are scared. I think they saw what happened to James Franklin, and they're like, oh, that can't be me. Well, James Franklin, it took him years before he eventually got fired. Like, Penn State didn't fire him in 1 week.
Yeah, he was there for over a decade.
Yeah, I think that they're kind of taking, like, that small thing, and I think some of them may be sending them a statement, too, being like, you can't fire a coach who is as successful as James Franklin is, but you got to see the forest through the trees. That is not a sleeping giant. I think just a giant that anybody could win at.
You know what's funny, though, is like if this is really true, there was a couple theories out there that the powerful agent, Jimmy Sexton, who kind of shadow runs college football in a lot of ways, is James Franklin's agent. And so he was kind of steering his clients away from Penn State, which, by the way, is derelict in his duties as an agent because Penn State's probably offering tons of money. So that's crazy. I think that theory is bogus. But the other part is, I don't understand like coaches who would be taking a stand, EJ, like in solidarity. I feel like coaches are the first people to turn their back on anyone, anytime, anywhere when they see their own opportunity.
But Maggie, did you see how much money those two coaches who turned down Penn State made, though?
No, a lot of them, people are getting rich off of Penn State.
Right. So I think the agent was not derelict in his duties because he got the Penn State offer and then he got BYU and crumbled.
Right.
So he did get them a lot of money in the long run.
But the idea of like blackballing a team when you could put one of your other clients in that spot just seems like if I'm a client of Jimmy Sexton, I'm like, I want the Penn State job. He's like, no, can't take it because they did James Franklin dirty. I'd be like,
it's been brilliant. He's gotten he's getting everybody paid off at Penn State because they're throwing out
I know, but Penn State's actually a good job in my opinion.
Well, by the way, you're right about one thing. Their schedule is a joke next year. I don't think Penn State's a good job. Everyone says behind the scenes it's pure chaos and that.
Yeah, like Florida and LSU's not.
That's the thing.
No,
like
Penn
a lot
State,
of these places, I think you could accuse them of that.
Penn State apparently has a lot of. You know where I heard this from my Penn State source? Fliegelman was telling me like, he said.
What does Ryan Hickey have to say about it?
I'm just thinking
Lots of
too.
people
Like
here
this
with
is
Justin
Rock.
Get my mom on the phone.
This is the college that allowed Jerry Sandusky. There's definitely something rotten in the core of the organization.
How can it be so rotten? They just were in the
semifinals
Final Four last year.
I'll tell you what, from the text messages that I got yesterday from my alumnus brother of the Pennsylvania State University, that guy is crashing out.
But their schedule is so easy next year. Listen to this. Marshall to start, Temple, and then the Buffalo Bulls. Not the Buffalo Bills, the
UB,
Buffalo
baby.
Bulls. And then they get into the Big Ten. Maryland, Michigan, who I don't think is that good. Northwestern, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers. Are you kidding me? I could coach this team to
there we are.
to the playoff.
12-0 next
Wait,
season.
who could I not beat on that schedule? Show me. Purdue?
We moved on from quarterback of Ohio State to coach of Penn State. I like this.
That's an outright insult to say that I could not coach Penn State. It's in Beaver Stadium. You don't think I could sit there with a big sheet of plays and beat Purdue? No way.
Counterpoint, you can't wear short shorts in November in Happy Valley.
I will.
Also, you have no plays. You have no playbook to make a sheet of to make calls from.
This is Purdue in Happy Valley.
So we can you walk out there and go, okay, you go left, you take 5 steps and go right, like it's a flag football game with 12-year-olds?
I played football when I was a kid. Go to the garbage can and cut right. So hard about that.
Drawing up plays on the football. Look, you're going to take 4 steps and then you're going to run a post.
Draw them up in the dirt. By the way, did you see when DJ said you can't wear shorts in November and Perloff says, I will. This is also he can get a second run out of his Halloween costume.
That sounds like a threat, too.
Yeah, it did.
You're right. It is amazing how bad the Big Ten schedules are. It's just startling. This is, I don't know. You're right. They should, but I don't think Penn State's as good a job as you guys think. In this rich recruiting area, I'm sorry, is Pennsylvania, Florida all of a sudden? Like, have you guys noticed where all the players come from? Warm weather states. Pennsylvania. Show me the great player from Pennsylvania in this.
Saquon Barkley.
Abdul Carter.
Michael Parsons.
They're like from right down the street.
If you look at the pros by state, it's crazy. They're all out of California, Florida, and Texas.
Isn't Jahmyr Gibbs from Philadelphia?
Look at the recruiting drive.
Yeah, we just mentioned the guy, the Bears running back.
No, Jahmyr Gibbs isn't from Philadelphia.
Well, Jahmyr is not, but the guy from the running back from the Bears,
DeAndre Swift from Philly.
Philly. I know he didn't go to Penn State, but no, Penn State, and also they get guys from Ohio too, which is also a very good recruiting area.
You get your big, strong guys.
The Ohio Valley area is great recruiting area.
I think you guys are misreading the way the recruits work now. But honestly, I think it's Florida, Texas, and California.
Yeah, it's a lot from those states, no doubt.
Like an overwhelming
then
majority.
Why is Miami, Florida, and Florida State hasn't won jack?
There's a lot of competition. And also, too, a lot of people come down to those places and steal players, like Ohio State.
That's true. That's why they should have got Brian Hartline at Penn State.
Well, yeah, and did you see Chris Henry Jr., who's the number one recruit, flipped out of Ohio State because Hartline left, and they could have just had him.
Oh, the Penn State recruiting rankings from yesterday were a murder scene. 888-710-4ISN. They were nestled between like Prairie A&M and South Dakota State. That's where Penn State was in the recruiting rankings. Okay, got to take a quick break. Coming up, we have lots to do, including a question for you today. Who do you trust more down the stretch, the Detroit Lions or the Dallas Cowboys? They face each other tonight.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Got a couple poll questions out here for you regarding tonight's game. Lots of playoff implications on the line. So question for you, who do you trust more down the stretch of the season? The Dallas Cowboys or the Detroit Lions? Pearl, Detroit leading this poll by a healthy margin. And do you consider Dan Campbell a liability or an asset? 73% saying an asset.
I'll never see it coming.
You know, whenever you watch a Lions game, the announcers always love Dan Campbell. He seems to have a sort of a cult around him.
Perfect.
You know, but you have problems with not going for it on fourth down, but you think he's too aggressive on fourth down. What about the other stuff? What about everyone buying in and playing their hardest for him? That seems like a thing.
Oh, he has absolutely my fullest respect for turning around the Detroit Lions. I mean, they are one of the most hard luck down and out franchises. My thing about Dan Campbell is not about him being aggressive. I get that. I think he's the perfect combination of kind of like meathead football guy and analytics guy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying coach the game you're in. Like, he blew that NFC Championship game, in my opinion. The players ultimately have to wear it, but I thought he blew that game for them, and I thought he did not coach a good game against the Packers on Thanksgiving. So that's it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they got just destroyed on the Lions. I mean, to even be in that game was impressive because they could not block the Packers, and the Packers offense wasn't great either, but they knew we were not getting close to the end zone again against this team. They were lucky for any positive plays because I can't remember exactly what the injury status was, but they didn't get anything going. They had the hardest time against the Packers defense, which makes me wonder, by the way, man, how good is that Packers defense?
Well, they've been consistently good. Yeah. I think we thought from the first couple weeks of the season they were going to be like all time. Yeah. It's not exactly that, but they are very good.
Which is interesting because then we see Dallas's defense against Detroit. I'm curious to compare the two. Will Detroit get that Lions thing going with all those injuries? I mean, EJ said it's going to be a blowout either way, which I think is an interesting analysis. Like, I feel like a blowout tonight, but I can't tell you which team. You never really hear that as a prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I kind of disagree. I feel like we're doing like 34-31 type of thing as opposed to, I think it could be a back and forth offensive, like understanding you got to take shots, understanding that I think both teams come into this game thinking they need to score 30 to win.
Yeah, although I wonder if the Lions, without Amon-Ra St. Brown, try to slow the game down.
Yeah, I wish if you could count on Jameson Williams a little bit more.
He's great, though.
He is good, but he's always something. There's always something weird lurking right around the corner with him.
He's had a great year. He had a drop in the key drop against the Packers, but the ball was way behind him. He's grown up a lot. I really like that player. What really kills them is they need that Laporta in the seam, especially against Dallas. But I think tonight it'll probably be a referendum on Dallas even more than Detroit. We're talking about Detroit, but America obviously is obsessed with the Cowboys. And anybody who's arguing that, look at the ratings from last week's game. 57 million for the Chiefs game. This is going to be the highest rated Amazon game of all time by 20%.
Think Allen Herbstreit are ready for this one?
Oh, yeah, they're going to be shocked to have a good game. They'll be like, what is happening here?
Well, not according to EJ. He thinks it's going to be a blowout. We're going to get more Herbstreit and Al vamping.
Here we go.
If that happens, Al's just going to be talking
What is that?
Stakes in the college football playoff.
Yeah, so
what's worse? Is it Herbstreit having a vamp or Tony Romo having a vamp? That's tough.
Romo, there's some comedy element to it that could produce something funny. Herbstreit.
Visit realizethedream.org.
What a day. Martin Luther King Jr. deserves to have a day named after him.
Herbstreit can never.
The problem is that Thursday Night Football is, by definition, kind of bad because the team's only had 4 days of practice. So I'm looking at some of the games that they had the 10-7 barn burner of Denver and Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. Usually the games kind of stink. That's the problem with the Herbie. Romo gets really great games for the most part.
Yeah, I was nervous for him. They were doing that Bills-Steelers game last week, and it was like 6 minutes to go, and the game was definitely decided. I'm like, oh, this is a tough Romo spot. He's out of things to say.
I think the Martin Luther King thing, was a Bills-Steelers game.
It was.
It was in Buffalo. It was like a weird Monday game because of a snowstorm, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you just can't leave Roma with that much time.
Also, why are they talking about Martin Luther King Day it's in February. No, it's in January.
No, it's in January. You're thinking President's Day.
Yeah.
All right. You can go ahead and mute yourself. 888-710-4ISN. Who do you trust more down the stretch? Dallas or Detroit? Right now sits at a 3-point spread. Detroit is favored. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Coming up, it's the Maggie Perloff King of the Mountain with a special guest. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Drunk old Sam rolled up late with a grin on his face, holding fryer oil like a trophy all over the place. Daly stood there shaking like a leaf in his shoes. Sam said, relax, boy, frying turkey is something you cannot lose. Infinity's gone, just smoke on the wind. But Sam said a feast heals all, let Thanksgiving begin. Man, he started yapping into that cursed mic again. Words drifting everywhere without reason or end. Crowd big, someone shut him off before we all go insane. Grunkle whispered, I will hit that switch myself if I have to, friend. This is Thanksgiving chaos, and the fryer's blazing hot. Daily learning deep fry secrets from a legend who drinks a lot. Pilates still missing, probably sleeping through the plan. Infinity buried in the backyard behind the minivan. Raise a cup of gravy and cheer for the clan, because nobody owns Thanksgiving like Drunk old Sam. Sam lowered that bird with a crackle and roar, oil splashing upward like a tidal turkey war. Daly jumped back 10 feet, scared out of his mind. Sam laughed, boy, this is nothing. You are doing just fine. Then Manny's voice crept back through the speakers once more. Everyone groaned and yelled, turn his mic off, we implored. Sam wiped his brow, took a sip and leaned back slow. Said, let me tell you something from a long time ago. I had one girlfriend who made me wax everything clean, every inch, every spot, every place in between. And I looked smoother than a butterball turkey, ready to bake. Never again, boys, that was my one big mistake. Daly spit out his drink, man, he froze like a statue. Sam said, true story, son, that girl nearly broke me in two. Out on the tennis court, Daly is beating Rube again, serving fireballs while Rube mutters, this cannot be happening, friend. Belotti's desk is empty, chair cold as stone.
One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Playing that intro music could be possibly good luck for Detroit tonight. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Although Jack White did perform on Thanksgiving and the Lions lost. So I don't know about that. Anyway, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is a big one tonight in the Motor City. Dallas comes to town, and Pearl playoffs are certainly on the line. Just put some numbers behind it. Right now, the Lions have a 42% chance to make the playoffs. It jumps up to nearly 60% with a win tonight, but drops to 22% if they lose. For Dallas, the odds are a little bit longer. They certainly would have to, basically, they have to run the table at this point if they want to get in.
Oh, yeah, but don't despair, Dallas fans. You can absolutely run the table. This is the hardest game you'll have left, assuming that you're way better at home, which it seems to be the case. What if the worst case scenario would be to win this game, the whole world goes bananas, then you blow it against a team like the Commanders in Week 17. Just don't do that, Dallas. Lose tonight, that's fine.
Well,
just don't lose against an NFC East team.
You know what, you say that, but again, I'll go to Next Gen Stats because people had a problem with me using the Athletics playoff simulator. The Cowboys have a 17% chance to make the playoffs. It goes up to 31% with a win, falls to 6% playoff likelihood with a loss. So we're talking about Detroit, backs against the wall, and how desperate they are. But you know what? Dallas should be feeling that same amount of desperation, in my opinion. According to Next Gen Stats, this is not me crunching the numbers. Heaven forbid.
2/3%.
I disagree.
Got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
I disagree because I don't think, I mean, it all comes down to Justin Herbert's left hand. Like, I don't think the Chargers are beating this version of the Cowboys team in Dallas. And then you end up with Minnesota, New York, and Washington. Like, there's no excuse not to lose those games. Then you end up 10-6-1. I don't know what the percentage is, but I imagine 10-6-1 will get you in.
I don't know. You already have teams in the NFC who already have 9 wins. I mean, there are some really good teams in the NFC. And so, to me, this one feels like desperation times for both teams. And I think you're going to see both of them try to get off to these really fast starts. And then it's like, who's going to take some risks? And is it going to end up paying off? Now, listen, Detroit comes into this game way more banged up than Dallas. Dallas is actually getting guys back. Now, I don't believe Deron Bland's going to play. They're also going to be missing Tyler Guyton. But they have gotten much healthier along the defensive line, and that's coincided with this 3-game winning streak. I mean, it has been a different defense since Quinnen Williams got here or got there, and since they got some more guys healthy along the line.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look at the standing. You're right. So the big question is, do you need 11 wins to even be in this thing? There's a lot of L's left on this. Even teams like the 9-3 Bears have a brutal schedule moving forward. The Eagles, we don't know if they're going to win anything moving forward. For all we know, the Cowboys could even take the NFC East. The Bucs will get the NFC South. They're out of the picture. Then you got, the Niners are 9-4 and the Seahawks are 9-3. Nothing is guaranteed. There are a lot of L's because a lot of teams play each other coming forward. The Packers play the Bears twice. So I think 10-6-1 will sneak you in.
I love this free fall that's coming from Philadelphia, right? Like, you're going to free fall when you get to face Justin Herbert, who's got a broken left hand. Then the Raiders come to town. You're going to name the number that day. You still have 2 against Washington. And, yeah, you got to go to Buffalo. But, like, the Eagles have some nice wins here on this schedule on paper. You're going to be favored by the Raiders. That might be the biggest spread of the season.
They lost to the Giants in 2023, Maggie. When the fall comes in Philadelphia, it comes hard. Remember, they lost 5 of the last 6 to anybody and everybody last 2 years ago in Philadelphia when things fell apart. That could easily be happening now.
All right. We asked you on X, who do you trust more down the stretch? I'm actually surprised that the Lions are winning this poll by this much, basically doubling up the Dallas Cowboys when I feel like Dallas is one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They beat your Eagles, even though they were down 21-0. And then they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, that was a tight game, no doubt. I mean, they were trading touchdowns in the fourth quarter. But ultimately, they did win that game, and you're going to Detroit, yes, but it's still inside. You're not going to play Chicago today.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about the dome thing. But, yeah, I feel like that is definitely a road game. I don't think it matters if you're indoor or outdoor. I don't think people trust Dallas on the road right now. Because, and by the way, this Dallas 2-game run is
three-game run.
But the 2 games against really good teams have still been very, very close games. I mean, they could have easily blown that game against Philadelphia. The big mistakes in that game that almost cost them early. So I'm not sure. I get why people don't trust the Cowboys. I mean, we all get that, right? As great as George Pickens has been, he's hard to trust. Is he going to be the best receiver in the NFL the rest of the 5 weeks? Is CeeDee Lamb going to have a dropitis again? There's all sorts of things that can happen to this Dallas team, and we all know it.
Exciting game, though. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. And it's just one of the really good ones this week because you've got Packers-Bears for first place in the NFC North, and then you've got that Steelers-Ravens game, Pearl, for first place in the AFC North. And meanwhile, it's like all the outside noise around Pittsburgh this week has just been deafening, whether it's Mike Tomlin's future, whether it's Aaron Rodgers saying guys aren't showing up to film sessions, then having to amend that, then saying he's not going to comment on anything that goes on off the field, like, well, what's going on off the field? You know, he kind of volunteered that. Like, I'm not going to get into the off the field stuff. Like, what off the field stuff? No one even brought that up until
Does he mean
you
Tomlin?
just did. I thought he meant about the outside film sessions that they may or may not been trying to hold. I don't know, but we don't know. He was kind of vague in his answers. So a lot swirling around the Steelers right now. Meanwhile, let's get to the Maggie and Perloff King of the Mountain.
Who is the King of the Mountain? Maggie and Perloff search for the greatest NFL team of all time.
Pearl, it's been a labor of love. Started with 25 of the greatest NFL teams ever. We're putting them head-to-head. Whoever wins the poll each week gets to stay as King of the mountain. And we've had a couple teams go on some really significant runs. Started with the 72 Dolphins, hung around for a little bit. Then the 84 49ers, really ran the table for a while. Now it's the 85 Bears who have the crown as King of the Mountain, and they have held this spot now for the last month.
I mean, I'm not surprised. They're so iconic in their own right. And the funny thing is they had no dynasty whatsoever. They just had that year. And if you're doing year by year, that gives them a big advantage. Because we didn't even know which Steelers team was which when we did time. Like, is that the team with this guy or that guy? And the Niners are even worse. The 84 Niners didn't have Jerry Rice, and most people don't remember that.
Let's get you refamiliarized with the 85 Bears.
When William the Refrigerator Perry barged in for Chicago's final touchdown, the most one-sided game in Super Bowl history was complete. After 22 years of frustration, Chicago had finally recaptured its place at pro football's summit. They dominated this game and this season as few teams had ever before. Yet the Bears also captured the country's imagination with their flair for excitement and fun. The Bears return home as world champions.
85 Bears obviously throttled the Patriots in Super Bowl 20, 46-10. They had a regular season record of 15-1. 6 Hall of Famers on that team. Had the first defense to lead the NFL in points allowed, yards allowed, and takeaways. Obviously, the Super Bowl shuffle speaks for itself. Meanwhile, today, they face a new challenger, Pearl, and this one is near and dear to your heart. The 2024 Philadelphia Eagles.
The wait is over. The NFL's two best teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, are about to collide in Super Bowl 59.
Hey, no stone unturned, man. We coming in big. We come to dominate. That's it. Together. We just did this all year. Don't stop now.
Hurts lets it go complete. A.J. Brown. He's in. Touchdown, Eagles. The Eagles, 24. The Chiefs, not a thing.
I love when they doubt you. They can't
with you. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history.
That was Merrill Reese. I hear this from Saquon Barkley on this very topic. Is this 2024 Eagles team one of the greatest of all time? Here's what Barkley thinks.
66 was the first Super Bowl. You take all the way from 66 to 2024, and you do a March Madness tournament, I think we come out on top, or we're at least making it to the Final Four.
There you go. So basically, Saquon Barkley doing our exact assignment. We're just not doing it in bracket form.
He kind of hurt his own cause by saying, well, at least the Final Four. I actually
He
thought
should've
about
just
that a
laid
lot.
it out, yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, if you just cut the soundbite right there, then he has it. But you're right. I think he's worried about the 85 Bears.
Tell the tape here. Obviously, the domination of Kansas City in the Super Bowl, 40-22. Regular season record of 14-3, but ends the season with 18 wins. You were the number 2 defense last year, Pearl. Number 7 offense, and a key stat: you set an NFL record for most points scored in one postseason at 145, and obviously hanging 40 in the Super Bowl definitely helped that. Saquon Barkley, unbelievable, leading the league in yards from scrimmage at more than 2,200 plus. And then he's also got the all-time moment, the backwards hurdle against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you're looking for, like, if a Heisman moment could happen in the pros, you know, like one snapshot, a capsule of that season, I think it would have to be Barkley's backwards hurdle. That was week 8, but still just showed the impact that Barkley had as the finishing piece on that Eagle team.
Yeah, he's only used it for about 16 different commercials since then, by the way.
And just wait.
Cover Madden.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, it's sort of like the Odell one-handed catch. He is, not he necessarily, but the people around him are milking that play a little bit.
I don't think you have to. I think it's that spectacular that it's okay. I don't get sick of seeing it.
There's this commercial where he's hanging upside down from, have you guys seen that one from the ceiling for somebody? I like it, but he is definitely like overplaying it a little bit.
Man, only an Eagle fan. Like, this should be one of the greatest moments in the history. You got, like, Miracle at the Meadowlands. You got Saquon Barkley backwards jump.
Oh, yeah. No, it was cool. But, I mean, the Super Bowl, I think, the ring is even cooler, to be honest.
Well, no kidding. But do you also agree with Merrill Reese this is the greatest Eagle team of all time?
Well, he said modern.
Modern.
And I love that because Merrill Reese was probably thinking about Chuck Bednarik. He was like, oh, man, we must have had some great teams back in the day. Yeah, I definitely agree. For this exercise, we had a choice between the 17 Eagles and this team, and I think this team was the right one to go with.
All right, let's welcome in our special guest for today to weigh in on this very topic. You know him as the host of the WIP Afternoon Show. He's our former boss. You can listen to his podcast, The Rights to Ricky Sanchez. Say the name. Spike Eskin on the line.
I've never seen the true face of a coward.
Good morning, Spike. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Talking about happier days with your Philadelphia Eagles today. I'm not sure if EJ told you about the assignment we're doing, which is finding the greatest NFL team of all time. Today, your 2024 Philadelphia Eagles are matched up against the 1985 Chicago Bears. It's going to be a tough test, Spike, but what would be the case for this Eagle team as the greatest ever?
Oh, wow. Well, I in my life, it's the greatest rushing performance I've ever seen from a team. Because it was dynamic and because it was about more than the running back. The running back was awesome and Saquon was awesome, but the way the offensive line performed, I don't even know. Even though Saquon rushed for 2,000 yards and then through the playoffs ended up with like the most yards ever. I don't even know if the numbers do it justice. When you go back and watch the way the offensive line performed, they bullied people the entire year. And it was so dominant that they got to a point where I think they were throwing 17 times a game or something after the bye week, simply because they didn't need it. And it wasn't just they would get 4 yards, they would get 4 yards, they would get 4 yards. That when I talk about dynamic, Saquon having as many 50, 60-yard runs as he had was something that you don't see with a running game, right? Like, you see explosive passing plays, and occasionally with a team you'll see an explosive running play. But it became so commonplace that you knew all you had to do was do it, run enough times, and you would get a game-breaking play. So I've never seen an offensive line wear down a team the way that the 2024 Eagles offensive line has worn down teams. And then you pair that with, look, they weren't the 85 Bears, but when you pair that with the number one defense in the league, whether you're the best defense of all time or not, toward the end of the year, I just didn't know how any team was going to beat them.
Spike, first of all, congratulations. I heard you're in Hard Knocks. I saw that. That's amazing.
Oh, nice.
I've wanted to do that my whole life.
Well, I'm a big star now,
Yeah.
so you're going to have to go through an agent to book me after my 9-second appearance on Hard Knocks. So
we'll have our people call your people.
I usually don't watch. In-season Hard Knocks is not always for me, but I'm going to be on this one. So you said they didn't run after a certain, didn't pass the ball after a certain point, which begs the question, is the quarterback good enough to be in this debate in Jalen Hurts?
Well, I mean, there's Jim McMahon. So
he was pretty good.
Yeah, but Jalen was fine. You're asking me to make a case for the Jalen case is a difficult case for me to make.
And also, Spike, you were in a big controversy last year, right? With Brandon Graham said that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown were not getting along too. So not just is he good, but was there a lot of drama behind the scenes in this 2024 Eagles?
So there's more drama this year. There was enough drama last year, I would say. There were two sets of drama. There was the Jalen Hurts drama with A.J., and then there was some Nick Sirianni drama where after a win, he managed to get into a fight with Eagles fans in a home game against the Browns. So there was enough controversy. This year's been worse, I would say. I think it's just sort of the part of the DNA of the team the last 10 years. Even when they're successful, it seems like there is a debate about something. Maybe we have something to do with that. WIP, I don't know. I think Jalen. If I were to make a case for Jalen, he did what was required in that there were games where necessitated passing the ball, and he was able to do it well. Now, I'm usually the person arguing that you always need to be able to pass the ball. I just think that last year's Eagles team was special, running the ball in a way that they could get away with. Don't turn the ball over. And when there's a situation where we can do it, where the other team commits so much to stopping Saquon that we can throw the ball, like in the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship game, the Steelers game last year, the Ravens game last year, he was able to come up big when it was necessary.
Our former boss, Spike Eskin, on the phone right now. Afternoon host, WIP. It's the Maggie and Perloff King of the Mountain Project. We are trying to find the greatest team of all time. Today, it's the 1985 Chicago Bears matched up against the reigning Super Bowl champion, the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles.
Go Bears!
We went right to the source in Philadelphia's own Spike Eskin. I think one thing you guys have not brought up about 2024 that I think matters is you kept the Chiefs from a three-peat. I think that should factor in. And it wasn't just beating them. You beat the brakes off of them in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, we weren't talking about Steve Grogan and Tony Eason in the same way with that Patriots team. Like, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who's goated in a lot of people's eyes, or could be goated by the time everything is said and done. But Spike, bringing it to present day now, because you mentioned there's a lot more drama this year with the Eagles. Do you think there's a possibility that, like last year, where A.J. Brown's reading self-help books on the sideline and it looked like things were pretty bad, you mentioned Sirianni getting into it with the fans, that things could turn around this year, and that, last year all that drama did not cause them, to trip up? Is it possible there's a turnaround where everyone gets on the same page and you can still be a factor this year?
It's possible, but it's a lot less likely.
Why?
I think that, so I always ask the question when people are arguing that this could happen, is what are the Eagles good at this year? Like, what are they really good at? Because every good team, there's no perfect team in the NFL, but you could certainly say they're really good at this or they're really good at that. And like when you say they're really, really good at not turning the ball over, it's sort of like saying, why is a baseball team good? Because they have a great closer. It's like the baseball team's not good because they have a good closer. It just means that that's something they have. The offense has been, bottom, not just bottom third, I mean, probably bottom 5 in the league at this point. The defense is good, but it is not last year good. So I just don't know what they're able to lean on. And I don't think that the running game is a matter of of everyone being on the same page. I do think there is some just physical attrition there. There's a lot made of, I'm sure you guys have talked about it, after a back touches the ball 400 times or so, the next year they're not good. And that would explain Saquon to an extent. But I think one thing that people don't talk about is that, the running back has several running plays where they don't get hit very hard. The offensive line never has one of those. So that was 500 rushes for the offensive line too. We've seen Cam Jurgens had off-season back surgery, has had leg problems this year. Landon Dickerson has been in and out. Lane Johnson has been hurt. They're missing Mekhi Becton, who was really good last year. So I don't think the running game is going to just come together, and I don't think Jalen Hurts is a good enough passer. So I guess if for no other reason that the rest of the league doesn't seem particularly awesome, it just doesn't feel like it's in the cards for this year's Eagles team.
Spike, if things do go badly, how close is head coach Nick Sirianni to the hot seat?
I think it would have to go like 2023 badly. I think they would have to either lose the division, or, they stumble into the playoffs and get whipped in the first round. I think they're pretty comfortable with Nick. I think the Eagles like the kind of head coach that, how do I put this, kind of like works well together with the front office, so I think he'd be comfortable with making whatever changes they think they need to make. So I think it would take, but if it's not like either of those scenarios is out of the question, right? Like if they were to collapse, 2 Super Bowls in 2 years is impressive. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, 2 collapses in 3 years is pretty unprecedented. If it ends up being like it was in 2023, where they lost 6 of 7 and got blown out in the first round of the playoffs. So I think it's unlikely he would get fired, but I don't think it's completely off the table if things completely unwind.
That was a really nice way to put it, Spike. Works well with the front office, like puppet of Howie Roseman. That was like really nice. And it's also that maybe his quarterback and wide receiver, who apparently may not like each other, but still find a way to come together to go rogue at the end of games. And with no fear of repercussion, I guess, from the head coach. So there's a couple things going on with Philadelphia. Here's my last one for you, Spike. And again, thanks for doing this. Obviously, the only thing you want in your life is to talk more Eagles. You don't do that nearly enough.
I love it.
No doubt.
I love it. My wife knows I love it at family functions. Please, let's
do a radio show
Eagles.
Personally for each person at the table. I know that's what you're dying to do. We'll get to the Sixers another time and maybe a pursuit of Giannis. But last one for me. On a scale of very shocked to not shocked at all, how surprised would you be if Howie Roseman and the Eagles drafted a quarterback this year like they did with Jalen Hurts when Carson Wentz was under contract?
Not shocked at all. 0% shocked. Yeah, I would be. I think the 2 most interesting things this offseason will be for the Eagles, assuming it doesn't turn around, are do they give Jalen Hurts an extension, and do they trade Tanner McKee, who is their backup quarterback, who they've developed for the last 3 years. He's a 6th-round pick. They think very highly of him. He's going into the last year of his deal. So, you have a quarterback that is a young backup quarterback that's well thought of across the league that you either have to pay or trade. And then Hurts, who is definitely the timing for an extension is there. I think if you don't hear news about an extension rather quickly, and you don't see any trade talks about Tanner McKee, I think drafting a quarterback, or even they moved on from Carson Wentz, like they 3 years after an MVP type season. So I don't think it's likely, but I definitely don't think it's impossible.
Quick sports etiquette question. I was, I don't know if you saw, I was at the game on Black Friday, Bears-Eagles. What is the acceptable time, considering the wind and the temperature, to leave that game if you were going to leave early? And Spike, I know you were sympathetic to my cause in this one.
Look, man, there were too many Eagles fans leaving too early in that game. I would say it became not until Bears are in like victory formation. I think it was when Caleb Williams ran for a first down that pretty much sealed it. I think there's only 17 games in a year. There's only 8 or 9 home games. Don't leave early. You got to be getting blown out, and they weren't. So When did you leave?
Perloff left at halftime. So.
No. I left halfway through the fourth quarter. Traffic, dude. I had to get out. I was parked really far away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I thought you were going to support me on this one.
No, absolutely not. That life experience, you never get it back. What if you missed one of the greatest comebacks in Eagles history? You would feel like an idiot. For what? To get home 25 minutes earlier? You're nuts. Yeah,
I couldn't feel my toes.
Well, the fact that you can feel them again is good.
I know.
If you still couldn't feel them, then we'd have an issue.
Spike, or drink more, Spike. That is what I need to do.
Yes.
Spike, we're glad we could scratch this itch for you. We know all you want to do is talk more Eagles, so thank you for doing this. Definitely, everyone, go vote on our poll. Who is the better team all time? 1985 Bears, 2024 Eagles. Appreciate it, Spike. We'll listen to you later.
Thank you, guys. Great to hear from you.
You too. All right, there we go. Got to take a quick break. We're late. If Spike was still our boss, he'd be not happy about this. So coming up next, we have a poll question to update you about tonight's game. Dallas Cowboys, Detroit Lions, lots on the line. I'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. You can go vote on our weekly King of the Mountain, trying to name the best Super Bowl team of all time. This week, 85 Bears against my Philadelphia Eagles, the 2024 Eagles. It's a tough matchup for my Birds. I would argue one thing that Spike didn't bring up. Two guys who are on the defense who left, Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, are awesome on their new teams, proving there was a lot of talent there. For what that's worth, I don't know. I don't got much here.
Well, I mean, I think that the 2024 Eagles make a really good case. Like, how would Saquon Barkley have matched up against, like, Mike Singletary? I mean, there's, like, I don't know. That
Nobody
offensive
matched up well
line
against Michael Singletary.
No,
he was
I know,
a monster.
But the offensive line for the Eagles this is our King of the Mountain. We're trying to find who's the greatest team of all time in 85 Bears versus 2024
I like this kind
Eagles.
of party.
But, like, you know, we had Spike Eskin, our boss, who's the host of WIP in Philadelphia, on to kind of defend the Birds a little bit. And yeah, I know it's hard, but that offensive line, could they have had some success against that fantastic Bears front?
I mean,
possibly.
The Bears had, the front was Dan Hampton, Steve McMichael, Fridge Perry, and Richard Dent. Then their linebackers were Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, and Wilbur Marshall.
Now
Singletary is the only Hall of Famer, but Wilbur Marshall and Otis Wilson were right there. And then they were running this 46 defense that people didn't really understand at the time. It was awesome. Dan Hampton was fantastic, made the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I think this is one really tough matchup for the 2024 Birds. But Spike brought up a great question. Is Jalen Hurts good? When are we ever going to know the answer to that question? That particular question. In the Super Bowl, heck yes. The rest of the time, I have no idea.
Yeah,
and I watch him every week.
Said he would not be shocked if the Eagles drafted a quarterback
like
they drafted Jalen Hurts when they already had Carson Wentz under contract. Let's get to Andrew Bogish, who's got the latest headlines. We get back to present day, where you got Cowboys and Lions tonight with a lot on the line.
We'll get to that game in a second. But first, mine and Manny's New York Football Giants. They are bad at multiple things these days. I thought all of them were football related, but then Jackson Dart, tight end Theo Johnson, and interim OC Tim Kelly had this chat during a recent practice, which was then aired this week on the season premiere of In-Season Hard Knocks.
Where does this wind come from, bro? Like, there's no like canyon, you know, there's like nothing that's like flowing through. It's just Meadowlands. We're in the Meadowlands.
Massive ocean that's like 2 miles that way.
The ocean's that way?
Ocean?
I thought the ocean was that way.
Sure, there's no ocean.
Pretty sure it's a river, ain't it? He said that's a river.
Oh, no.
On the other side of those buildings, it's nothing but blue water.
An ocean? Dude, I thought the ocean was that way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like, look at the map. Like New York, the Atlantic Ocean.
But where are we? Where are we?
Yeah, where are we? It's called hell. I mean, none of that is right.
All three of them get a map.
There's another 40 seconds of like, what's Long Island? So this is
fair questions all around.
Now I'll raise my hand.
Which way is the ocean?
Could I explain to you where winds comes from, where wind starts? No. Do I know that the Meadowlands is not within shouting distance of an ocean? Yes.
Oh, so it's not near the ocean?
No, there's like 3 different rivers plus Manhattan and a little bit of Long Island before you get to an ocean.
Yeah, there's a swamp. They're in a swamp.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of
gotta pull up a map on
confusing
this.
over there. But
Here goes
obviously, like these guys they just go from the facility to their
evidently.
apartments
Yeah,
and
I see
then
that.
take a car service to New York.
Dart doesn't know an easy pass, so I knew he knew what the hell.
Yes, he didn't know what Easy Pass was. You know, to be fair, Jared Goff during a Hard Knocks when he was young didn't know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and he played in a Super Bowl.
Oh, brother. Where do you go to school?
He went to a good school.
Went to Berkeley.
Yeah, you have.
You've got to be kidding me.
I thought you were asking that rhetorically. No,
I genuinely forgot. I thought it was Cal for a second, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to sound like a moron on air. But, oh, God.
Well, Jackson Dart got you covered there.
Yeah.
Where does wind come? You know, I guess that's a fair question.
So are we near the ocean, in your guys' opinion? Are we near a river?
And we're closer to the ocean than they are.
The river's 2 streets away that way.
Right,
Yeah,
but that river opens up
up
into
to
the
the-
ocean
Yes.
within,
Eventually.
Like all
like a
rivers.
mile and a half.
But I think the river is more the reason for why it's cold.
Here's a question:
For us.
Do you expect the people like
A little bit.
to know about their surroundings?
Yes.
A little bit.
Don't finish your question. Yes.
By the way, you think Cam Scattaboo has any idea of this stuff either? It's
I
like
don't think Cam
Jackson
Scattaboo
Dart's not
knows
the
where
only
he-
dummy.
I don't think Camp Scattaboo knows where he is when he's streaming at his home.
Listen, he got votes for mayor, so don't
He
disrespect
did get
Cam-
votes for
Cam-
mayor.
Cam
Yeah.
Scattaboo.
Yeah.
So did Jalen Brunson, right?
Jalen Brunson, Aaron Judge,
And
Pete
Pete
Alonso.
Pete
Alonso.
Alonso.
Yes.
Who would
Jackson
make the
Dart
best
got a-
mayor out of a current football
Jalen
or
Brunson.
athlete? I actually think Aaron Judge might not be bad. He doesn't say anything,
Yeah.
which is kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you're
know
right.
who the
For a
worst. I know
politician.
who the worst would be.
Cam
Cam
Scattaboo.
Scattaboo.
Oh, I was gonna say Draymond, but Cam's good too.
Oh, Draymond.
Draymond will be picking fights with everybody all the time.
Saquon
But-
Barkley also got a vote in the mayoral election in New York City.
But here's the thing. Draymond Green actually would get elected. I don't think
Yeah.
any of these other guys would. Draymond would.
Aaron
He's
Judge
other
get
times.
elected New York City mayor.
No, because there's 2 teams.
Nah, he'd still get elected.
You think Mets fans are going to elect Aaron Judge? Like, there's a lot
Over
of
the
Mets fans.
other dopes that normally run for
What
New York
party?
City mayor.
Well, yeah, if it's Aaron Judge versus, Andrew Cuomo, yeah, it's going to be Judge in a landslide.
Yeah, seriously. We had Andrew Cuomo. We had De Blasio. It was rough, but we got the Knicks.
Right. Also, if Judge is the mayor, he can't be a Yankee, right? So maybe I'd vote for him for that reason.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers may have been running for vice president, was the quarterback of the Jets.
But he wasn't going to. But if he was elected, what was he going to be?
Yeah, how's his tenure as president and as Jets quarterback?
I think he was going to try to pull off both.
That would have been.
Or
And by the
neither.
way, if you're seeing some of the stuff that's coming out now about RFK from the woman he was having an affair with, the book that she just wrote, I don't know if he would have been president for very long. That dude is on the edge.
RFK has a book?
No,
No.
the woman he was having an affair with has a book.
I actually
An
think-
emotional affair.
Missed that one.
I don't think it was physical.
I think the Warriors may have both the best and worst person for mayor. I think Steph Curry would be a great mayor.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he'd be a really good mayor.
I don't know if his politics necessarily line up with some in San Francisco, but probably. He'd get elected,
He's
of
very
course he would.
popular and he's very likable.
Of course. Athletes have a major leg up.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Johnson had a scandal. He still was
Yeah,
a
they
mayor.
still loved
They
him.
I thought
liked
he
him as
actually
a
was
mayor.
the mayor, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's saying he
forgot
was
about
literally
that.
a mayor. And Dave Bing, there's plenty of athletes that have been mayors.
I'm looking at maps right now, by the way. I'm still, I
Okay,
think,
go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
I think you guys were very overconfident in your knowledge of where the Meadowlands is
No,
compared
I
to bodies
checked.
of water.
I know where the
But I got to be
Meadowlands
honest
is.
with
East
you. No, I
Rutherford.
believe you. But like, who on earth knows where the Meadowlands is compared to the ocean? I'm totally with Cam Scattaboo. I had no. I've driven there, and
Cam's not even in the clip.
Yeah.
Jackson
sorry.
Jackson Dart
Jackson
and
Dart.
Theo
Just
Johnson.
dealing with all those traffic signs is hard enough to get the Meadowlands. To know where you are in terms of all that water, I'm totally with them. I don't understand.
New Jersey is very
It's
very
very
confusing.
confusing.
It is.
It's quite
very
confusing.
confusing.
And wet.
Yeah, but
There's a lot of
they made
rivers.
it sound like they were playing at AT&T Park. Like, I mean,
Right.
They drive to the stadium every week.
Tim Kelly is the one that goes right behind those buildings is miles of blue water.
That's just not
That's
true.
not true.
No, and even if you ever land at
That's
Newark
not
Airport
true.
and you get the bird's eye view, you know that's not
Right.
true.
But then you come in. What? Oh, LaGuardia.
Like you see the
you're
Statue of
over
Liberty. I
the
think we're
ocean.
all kind of like familiar with that, even if you don't live around here. It's a big tourist destination.
No, when you land at LaGuardia, you're flying over
No,
Long Island
Newark.
Sound. No, he just
Long
said
Island.
LaGuardia.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Long
Newark.
Island Sound.
You see
near where I live.
the Statue of Liberty right there.
Yeah.
So
But
I
that's
live by
technically
the,
not the ocean either, though.
No.
Yeah, that's the Bay of New York. Is
I
not.
live by the Brooklyn Bridge. Sorry, and they say
East
this.
River.
It
That's
starts to
Pacific.
mix with right below the bridge. It starts to mix with saltwater right there.
Yeah.
So sometimes sharks come all the way up there because the ocean starts.
Oh, this is
just
all
south
going back
of the
to your
Brooklyn Bridge.
shark fear.
Yeah. No, I have to know where the ocean starts. So actually, we're very, very close to the ocean right now. Like
No, we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very close.
We are, and 20 miles away in New Jersey, they're not. Because,
Well,
again, that's 20
That
miles
I
to
did
the
not
southwest.
know. I had no idea.
It's all relative. They're very close to the ocean compared to Kansas, but in their conversation, they made it seem like they were 2 steps from the sands, and they were not.
Okay, I have to ask you.
And that explains the wind.
This is what you guys are going to make fun of me for this. Why are there so many seagulls at the Meadowlands?
Moving on.
That's a fair question. Seagulls live over the ocean. There's thousands of them there.
It is an epidemic of seagulls in that parking lot.
So where do you think they're coming from? Oh, they live in the marsh or something?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
basically a radioactive dump. Like that place is awful.
And we're talking about where the stadium is in the land. We're not talking about the product on the field.
Also a radioactive
also
dump.
radioactive.
Fair.
One other NFL note: the Bills have claimed veteran corner Darius Slay off waivers from the Steelers.
Brandon Cooks, Darius Slay, pencil in the Super Bowl.
As I've been saying all fall, do not let the Nets get hot.
Porter, top of the key, back to Wolf. Drives on Carter. Now hands it off back to Porter. Left wing 3. Buries it. 33 for Porter. He's got 5 threes. The Nets go back up by 12.
Chris Carino, Nets Radio. Michael Porter Jr. with 33 and 10 in a 113-103 win in Chicago. Brooklyn winning back-to-back games for the first time this season.
Wow.
The Bulls, meanwhile, are now 3 games under 500 after a 5th consecutive loss. And free agent outfielder Kyle Tucker reportedly visited the Blue Jays facility in Florida yesterday.
Dunedin.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw that. The Blue Jays are not messing around.
No.
They already signed Dylan Cease.
For $2 billion.
They got the
That was a lot
pitcher
of money.
from like the Japanese league MVP who pitched
Yeah,
to a 1.82 ERA last season.
But he's American, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Cody
but he was
Ponce.
pitching in Ponce. But is he American? Actually, I don't know.
Yes. Or, Canadian, but he's North American.
North American,
Yes.
but he was pitching in Japan. They're going to re-sign Bo Bichette, obviously.
They already gave it back to Vladdy.
They want Edwin Diaz.
They might get Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's fighting back. Good for Toronto.
Yep, they got money.
And if
They
Judge
should've won
becomes
that
the
World
mayor
Series.
and is out of the Yankee lineup, then look out.
Yeah,
Listen, they beat the Yankees with Judge in the lineup.
No, listen, hey, if Judge isn't in the lineup, you got to watch out for Trent Grisham, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that big body of water by Toronto a lake or an ocean?
That's a lake.
Yeah.
Maggie?
That's a big lake,
It's a
by
very
the way.
big
It looks
lake,
like an ocean
yeah,
from
no,
Toronto.
It's enormous.
I'm going to head to break
That's why
here.
they call it the Great Lakes.
Top of the hour, Nick Costo's going to join us. Normally that happens on Friday. Today, it's going to happen on a Thursday. So he's going to get us set for this big Cowboys-Lions game that we got going on. Also, one embattled quarterback was on the practice field yesterday. Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Well, not for Browns fans. Welcome back to the show. Maggie,
they're
Greg,
more of an off-season
it's really
kind of team.
April's kind of like the best for the Browns. Generally, when the draft comes around and they have a high pick and they can sell hope to the fan base when they're kind of floundering with 3 wins, Pearl. In December, it's not that fun, but there was an update yesterday to the Browns that is actually not about Shedeur Sanders, but certainly impacts Shedeur Sanders. Deshaun Watson was back on the practice field yesterday. What'd you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, desperate situation. I actually had this on. Tell me if you think I went way too far. They are just a little too good to get in the top 3 for a quarterback. They might end up 5, 6, or 7.
You put good in air quotes.
Well,
they'd be picking 5th if the season ended.
So that's often that could be just outside the quarterbacks, and unless they trade up, they might not be able to draft a quarterback. So maybe this is Deshaun Watson's team next year.
Okay, so I think there's a couple of things that you have to unpack. First of all, the owner has already called the Deshaun Watson contract and the whole debacle a swing and a miss.
Right.
So I don't know if that means that they've already kind of washed their hands with Deshaun. I don't know how you could be looking to trade the guy. He can't be tradable.
No,
the
absolutely
contract
not.
is so big. But maybe they're going to go back on that. Now, there was a really good trade that the Browns made with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Jags have played a little bit better, so that's going to be the 26th pick now, but they have their own pick, and they have the 26th pick. So they got that extra first-rounder when the Jags traded up for Travis Hunter. I think that there's a world where it's Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur next year. Now, I've maintained, I think that I think they would trade Shedeur Sanders if someone came with an even remotely fine offer.
You mean like a 6th-round pick or something?
6th, 5th. Let's say the Shedeur still plays well down the stretch, or you can see the talent, or someone already liked him and would be willing to bring him in as the backup. We know Philadelphia liked him. We know the Ravens liked him. Maybe there's some team out there that would be willing to trade a 5th rounder, and I think that the Browns would do it, quite frankly. So I think Deshaun Watson, and they seem to love Dylan Gabriel, even though Gabriel didn't play very well.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for anybody to play well. I think you have to mention that whenever you say Dylan Gabriel didn't play well or Shedeur doesn't look good. I mean, come on. This team is a mess.
Yeah, they're bad.
I think we're on the same page. I mean, there might be a world where they just don't have a better option, and why not take a flyer on Deshaun Watson? Do you think even in the back of his head, Jimmy Haslam wants to be in next year's draft so he can try and take Arch Manning, because he loves all things Manning, that Tennessee connection? Maybe they're saying, hey, this is not the year for the quarterback, because it does feel like if you draft Fernando Mendoza, say you trade up to number 1.
Yeah.
You're not putting Fernando Mendoza in a great spot to turn around this team. I don't even know if you're going to have Kevin Stefanski there. It just feels like they're not even ready to draft the quarterback.
I think they're going to, though. And so do you put Deshaun Watson, a rookie quarterback, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders? I mean, God, what a mess that would be. But I don't even know if the Browns can help themselves. Even if they don't think it is like the air quotes right time for a quarterback, I think they'd take one anyway.
I think Fernando Mendoza and the Cleveland Browns next year would be a tough sell.
But say that about anyone. Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza. I don't think it's about the player. I think it's about the Browns. Do you think there is a world where it's just Deshaun and then they decide to use those 1st-round picks on something else?
Absolutely. I don't think there's a lot TBD here. I don't think it's a great quarterback draft. I think they might look at the 27 draft and say that's better. I think that's a realistic option. Not only that, they're just not ready to bring in Fernando Mendoza. They don't really have the pieces around him. Are they going to be able to find enough receiver help and offensive line help? Maybe, but I don't know. I could see either way. If they're 5, do you trade up? Do you use that Jacksonville pick to get up to number 1? I mean, you need players all over that lineup. That's the issue.
But you're going to have to jump probably Las Vegas and New Orleans.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would you do that? Like, you have to give up a 1st-round pick. Don't you need that for other things?
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. You mentioned quickly Stefanski. I think he is absolutely on the hot seat. I know that we thought, Pearl, that, they traded away the 2nd overall pick to Jacksonville for Travis Hunter. Does this mean that they are going to, let this kind of be like a don't worry about it year for Stefanski? Like, hey, we're going to bring you back no matter what. This is why we have, on average, 8 NFL coaching openings every single year. It's because these in-between guys. And Stefanski may be winning Coach of the Year awards, but they have no wins to show for it. I mean, there's just nothing here for the franchise, and I think he's going to be gone. I do.
I heard an interesting take from our buddy Sheil Kapadia, the Ringer. He said that Stefanski gets on the open market, he is the number 1 candidate. Like, the Giants would kill to have Kevin Stefanski. So Jimmy Haslam is vain enough where he'd be like, whoa, if those teams want him, then...
Who, the Giants, who have won fewer games than anyone over the last decade?
Well, he would see if there's a coaching carousel. If he's the number 1 guy, then Haslam will be like, well, I'm not giving him up if other teams want him. But there's a logic there. I mean, because Vegas would probably want him. What were the 4 teams? The Titans, the Giants, the Raiders, and the would all go in on Stefanski, probably. The Giants especially would go in on Stefanski for Jackson Dart.
I mean, I get it, but so you're going from the Browns to the Giants, which I know is very different in terms of reputation, but in terms of actual results, they are pretty close to each other.
Well, you just said it. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why the Giants job is so hot, because it's the New York Giants. Yeah, whatever. They've sucked over the last 10 years, but at the end of the day, it's still the Giants. It's still a historic franchise. So.
No, I think it's more about Dart and Ward. Those are if you're a coach, if you have your options, you look at the tape and say, which quarterback can make me look great?
Well, what if the Raiders get Fernando Mendoza?
No, I don't see that as an option.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm Stefanski, I would look. I mean, they have the same problem that Geno Smith has. Who are you throwing to? If just triple team Brock Bowers and you shut down Fernando Mendoza,
that you can fix. You can fix a receiver.
Yeah, but I just think that
look at Drake May. Who's he throwing to besides Stephon Diggs? There's a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, I mean, look at Drake May. Like, you want a quarterback who, if you already have one in place, that's really good.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Coming up, Nick Costa's going to join us. A little special. He's coming on a Thursday. We'll get you set for Cowboys and Lions in just a matter of hours. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Major playoff implications on the line tonight. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Dallas on the road in Detroit, Pearl. Detroit's a 3-point favorite in this game, but it kind of feels like two teams that are going in opposite directions. Dallas has really found their stride over the last 3 games, made the addition to Quinn and Williams, have gotten some guys back healthier on the defense, and now look like one of the hottest teams in the league. They beat your Eagles. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, Detroit lost on Thanksgiving to the Packers, and they've been flip-flopping wins and losses over the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, poor Detroit is super, super injured. Even if they do win this game, by the way, and figure a way to make the playoffs, I don't think anyone considers them a dangerous Super Bowl team because even better Detroit teams have fallen apart. I feel awful because it's 2 years in a row now that they've had a Super Bowl basically team that just could not stay healthy. And this year it's on offense.
3 years. They were in the NFC Championship game 3 years
They
ago,
were healthy
right?
that year.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying that it feels like they have made all the right decisions as a franchise. They've made all the right draft picks, and they just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, it's a shame. And the injury report for tonight is a laundry list, and it's headlined, of course, by Amon-Ra St. Brown, who injured his ankle against the Packers and now is questionable. But even if he does suit up, because, I think he's got a little Superman mentality, how limited is he going to be? This all comes down to Jahmyr Gibbs for me, and that's not breaking news to anyone who follows the NFL. It's just, how is Dan Campbell in the offense? How are they going to make sure they're getting creative here? Because the Dallas Cowboys defense, however they got here, they actually have proven that they are better against the run right now. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs is a special kind of talent, but they need to get him in space against the Cowboys linebackers more than just running straight into that defensive line.
Oh, I'd love to see DeMarvion Overshawn, probably my favorite defensive player in the NFL, chasing Jahmyr Gibbs. That would be high there because there's no faster linebacker. That'd be great. I think I like what you're saying. If I'm Detroit, I don't want to get in a shootout, although that might be inevitable.
I think both teams are trying to score at least 30 points in this game. All right, let's check in with our pal Nick Costos. He's the host of You Better You Bet. If you're following along with this show closely, Nick usually joins us on Fridays, but a special Thursday edition of Costos on the Maggie and Perloff Show. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Great to be on with you guys. Thank you for accommodating me and having me on today instead of Friday.
No, this is great. You could have just canceled, but instead you so wanted to give out your advice to our audience that you made the switch. So thank you. Okay, we have a big one tonight. We got the Lions hosting the Cowboys. 3-point spread in favor of Detroit and the total at 54.5. How do you bet this game?
I do think, Maggie, that this game and the Sunday night game with Kansas City and Houston mirror each other a little bit. And I actually have different opinions on both games, and I probably should have the same opinion on both of them, right? Where you have Kansas City as a 3 or a 3.5 point favorite against Houston. You have Detroit right now as a 3, maybe on the cusp of being a 3.5 point home favorite against Dallas. And I think there are legitimate arguments to be made that the underdogs in both games are currently actually the better teams in the game.
Yep.
That Dallas right now is better than Detroit, and this is me saying it, someone that's loved the Chiefs all season, and someone that will stand to not do great. It won't be a great result for me if the Chiefs don't win, if the Chiefs don't make the playoffs. You can make an argument that at this moment right now, the Texans are a better team than the Chiefs with all of Kansas City's offensive line injuries. So we could talk about the Chiefs-Texans game if you'd like a little later, but I find that the dichotomy between the two primetime games, Thursday and Sunday, and you can actually say that about Monday also, and we'll see if Justin Herbert can play with the Eagles and the Chargers. But as far as tonight goes, I think right now, like, the Cowboys are just better than Detroit. Now, if you told me this was fully healthy Detroit and Frank Ragnow's back, maybe we can have a conversation. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is very much on the wrong side of questionable. The best part of the Dallas defensive front, Maggie, I heard you saying it as I was about to come on, is the interior, right? And that's where Detroit's offensive line has struggled this year. The tackles are great. The interior has been the problem. Now here's Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and company. And Dak is just playing at such an unbelievable level right now. And I don't know how the Lions are stopping the Dallas offense. And I give the Cowboys defense a better chance against the Lions offense than I do vice versa. So yeah, like, I'll take the points with the Cowboys tonight. I kind of don't think we need them. I think the Cowboys are going to win tonight in Detroit.
So money line, it's plus 145 right now.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you, let's say you want to bet, you bet $20 on the game, put like, $5 or $10 on the money line also. Like, bet more on the side of the game, back it up with a small bet on the money line. So that way, if Detroit wins by 2, like, you still win something here.
Nick, might as well get to the Kansas City game, and it relevant to Detroit too. How much does desperation matter when you're looking at a team? Throw the injuries aside, just the fact that Kansas City knows they have to win, and Andy Reid was talking about heart of a champion and all that. When you're looking at that game, do you consider that factor as along with injuries and all the other stuff? Like, just they have to win.
Well, like the Texans kind of have to win too. Like the AFC South is a huge game earlier in the day with the Colts and the Jaguars, where Houston has to keep pace with those two teams if the Texans want to make the playoffs, right? And I guess they could make it as a wild card team, but this is a huge game for the Texans, just like it is for Kansas City. Now, you could argue it's a bigger game for the Chiefs because Houston's 7-5 and Kansas City is 6-6, but I think it's a huge game for both teams. And I'm not going to bet Houston, even though I feel like I probably should. The Chiefs could be without 3/5 of their starting offensive line.
Yep.
Like, we know Josh Simmons is out. He's on IR. I think Trey Smith is probably going to miss. Jalen Moore, who is like signed to be like the backup swing tackle, may miss also. And here's the best defense in the league with Will Anderson, who would win Defensive Player of the Year if Myles Garrett didn't wake up every morning and breathe breath. We had Brian Baldinger on You Better You Bet yesterday, Odyssey NFL Insider. He said that watching Will Anderson play football chokes him up, almost brings him to tears because of the impact that he has on a football game. And now here's a quasi-broken Kansas City Chiefs offense, minus potentially 3 offensive linemen against the best defense in the league. And I thought, C.J. Stroud in the first half of last week's game against Indianapolis, he's tap dancing in the pocket like Fred Astaire. He's missing receivers high, but it's his first game back, 3 weeks off from a concussion. I thought he played better in the second half. And here's the thing with Houston, right? And why I think the two teams mirror each other a little bit, Houston and Dallas, the two dogs, where we've been saying all season about Dallas, right? And think about this, right? Can the defense just be average? Or slightly below average? And they are going to cook with gas because the offense is so good. With Houston, it's been the opposite. Can the offense and the offensive line even be below average to pair with maybe the best defense in the league, and they can cook with gas? And I think what we've seen from this Texans offense, no one's going to confuse them with the greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams, but I would say that they are now an average offense. The offensive line's been way better. They actually have some semblance of a run game with rookie Woody Marks. Nico Collins is obviously great, and we're seeing Jaden Higgins, the rookie second-round receiver out of Iowa State. He's starting to emerge. I think Houston's kind of legit here. And they might be the best team in the AFC South, which doesn't mean they'll win because they're behind the 8 ball. It doesn't mean they'll win the division. But I think they're probably the best team right now. I won't bet them because this is my own version, mine's out of the gutter, people, of Brokeback Mountain. I can't quit the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm not going to bet the Texans, but would I be shocked if the Texans won? Absolutely not.
My mind's not in the gutter, Nick. Now I'm just thinking of Nick, classic New Yorker on a horse, though.
Never.
Yeah, I don't think that's your season. All right. No. Nick Costa is the host of You Better You Bet. Let's get to a couple more here, Nick. Bears at the Packers, NFC North, first place on the line. I was a little surprised that this line is as big as it is. Packers are a 6.5-point favorite right now.
Well, I think we may be surprised if this line continues to go up. Looks like we're going to hit 7. Now, obviously, No, I normally come on with you guys on Friday morning where we have more injury information, right?
Sure.
The Thursday injury reports in tow. So we have less information to deal with today. My sense is we're going to hang out in this range and maybe go up for Green Bay. And this despite the fact, obviously, that the Bears, if the season ended today, which it doesn't, the Bears would be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Green Bay, amongst people that bet, and I'm not presenting this as facts, it's just a talking point, right? And something that should be considered. Green Bay is power rated by people that do this kind of thing and like bet a lot of money as one of the best teams in the league. Now, whether you, Maggie, you, Perloff, or you, the person watching, or you, the person listening, agree with that is another story, right? You don't have to agree with that. Professional bettors can be wrong all the time, right? But that's why I think we're seeing Green Bay get bet out. I actually, Maggie, agree with you that I do think this point spread's a little big. I'd like to wait and see if we can get a +7 with the Chicago Bears. I just have infinite faith right now in Ben Johnson's ability to scheme something up on offense to keep this game close. Now, if you wanted to build a case for Green Bay and some pessimism for Chicago, Ben Johnson said the quiet part out loud earlier this week, which is they are winning in spite of the passing game, not because of it. And I do think that Caleb Williams, while we can have a conversation about Caleb in the years to come in the Ben Johnson offense, he's currently not playing at a level that could make you think the Bears could win a couple games in January or get to a Super Bowl. And Jordan Love, candidly, the last couple weeks, he's been unbelievable. He's been great. He's been way better than Caleb Williams. So if the number's going to be 7, I'll want to back the Bears. It won't be one of my favorite bets of the week. I understand why the Packers have gotten bet out, even if I don't necessarily agree with it.
Well, okay. I know we have a lot of big games on Sunday to talk about, and I'm not going to get you before Monday night, and you're talking about the Bears. They whooped my Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Eagles are...
Our Eagles, Perloff, as I bet them every week.
Oh, well, what do you think they're 3-point favorites going to L.A. against the Chargers on Monday night? Although Justin Herbert, I guess he's going to try and play with a broken left hand. I don't get it. Why are they favorites? Aren't we in 2023 reprise where the Eagles are in total free fall? I'm very confused. Maggie and I have been talking about all week. Are the Eagles at free fall or are they okay?
Well, I think this is kind of like, a kind of a similar situation to Thursday night and Sunday night, right? Yeah. Where it's not just reputation. Like that's not all it is. It's power ratings, right? And like how much do you ding teams for what they've done recently? And I think the betting market still believes in Detroit to a degree, still believes in Kansas City to a degree, and still believes in the Eagles to a degree. Now, part of this, the Eagles being favored like they are, is absolutely pessimism that Justin Herbert might not play. Now, this is what we call an in-between number, right? I've talked about this on your guys' show before. And it's a really easy concept for people to understand. If Trey Lance is going to start at quarterback for Philadelphia, for the Chargers, the Eagles will be more than a 3-point favorite, right? Because if the spread were Eagles 3 and Trey Lance were playing, you would bet the Eagles. And it wouldn't even be, forget about the Eagles offense. It's Trey Lance versus the Eagles defense. But if Justin Herbert's going to play, the number's also not going to be Eagles 3. The number's going to go down. Maybe we close Eagles 1. Maybe we close a pick'em. Maybe the Chargers are a small favorite in the game, right? So we're kind of in an in-between area right now. This is another one, Perloff, where I do like the Eagles in the game, and I don't know what I'm basing that in other than I'm having a hard time shaking my priors, like what I came into the last couple of weeks believing. Now, the Chargers are not exactly, like this juggernaut football team. They don't have the offensive line that the Bears have, although Amari and Hampton's probably going to be back at running back. I do think the Eagles can affect a bad Chargers offensive line, down its 2 starting tackles for the season. So I do think the Eagles will win the game. I can't tell you that I think they're going to win with an extreme level of confidence.
Nick, last NFL question for me. Nick Costos, the host of You Better You Bet, is joining us now on Thursday, usually Friday, but this is awesome. We get him a day earlier. It is a 6-point spread between the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. It's Ravens -6. The total is 42.5. How do you bet this game?
I don't think I'm going to.
Okay.
I think the Ravens are going to win. I do think Baltimore will win. And did we talk before Thanksgiving? So
No.
All these days kind of blend together. Okay. So what I was saying leading up to the Bengals-Ravens game, I did like Cincinnati in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And why I liked the Bengals had nothing to do with Joe Burrow coming back. It was because, to me, Lamar Jackson didn't look healthy. And he did not play well on Thanksgiving night against Cincinnati. He was bad in the game. We all watched the game, right? He did look healthy, though, to me. Like he was running well. I just think that was like a bad Lamar game. I do think you'll get a better Lamar game here against what is unequivocally a bad Pittsburgh Steelers defense, where, the Bills last week had a Tecmo Bowl playbook. It was like run left with James Cook and run right with James Cook. And the Steelers knew it was coming, and they couldn't stop it, and they never adjusted. And I think this is going to be like the grand failure, I think, of the Mike Tomlin regime when it's all said and done. And obviously, he won a Super Bowl and went to another, so failure's relative, has never had a losing season. But I mean, think about all the games they lost to the Tom Brady Patriots, where they were so stubborn, and it was like insert undersized white slot receiver, Chris Hogan, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, and they would guard him with Ryan Shazier or James Farrier. And they can't cover him. This was like the Bengals Thursday night game when the Bengals beat them with Flacco, and Jamar Chase had 85 targets, and they refused to cover Jamar Chase. They refused to do anything to stop James Cook. TJ Watt says after the game, I've never seen a team run the same play over and over again with that much success. Dude, you're on the defense. Do something about it. Now, these two teams always play close games. Mike Tomlin and Steelers voodoo. It's a big number. Maybe the Steelers cover. I do think the Ravens will win the game.
All right, I have a college question about one game, and it might be it might be an excuse. Yeah, it might be an excuse for you to rant about the playoff committee too. BYU is a 12.5-point underdog against Texas Tech in the Big 12 title game. Two questions: how would you bet it? And B, does BYU have a chance here to cause even more chaos with the playoff field?
I'll start with the second question first. If BYU wins, Notre Dame's out.
Yeah.
I think that's how people need to be thinking. And off the top of my head, and I know that's really hard for people to understand. And there's actually a scenario, I think, where if Texas Tech wins, Notre Dame could also be out. I think, and Marcus Freeman was on the Today Show yesterday. You can see that he's a little nervous. And the fact that ND got dropped to 10, I think is a really bad sign for them. So think about it this way, right? And if you guys have talked about this already, I don't want to repeat your talking points. So do I need to go through this or?
No, I'm in agreement with you. I think that Notre Dame is out if BYU wins. I just don't know if I believe in the mysterious flip that's coming, that Perloff you've been talking about, that somehow, even if Texas Tech wins, that now the committee is going to somehow see the light and put Miami and Notre Dame finally in the same tier and somehow take Miami over Notre Dame. They haven't been showing you that for weeks.
Okay, so I want to be crystal clear about what I think is going to happen. I think if Texas Tech wins, Notre Dame's in. I think that's what's going to happen.
I agree with you.
But it's not 100% because you never know what these people are going to do, right? So let's play this out. Texas Tech wins, right? BYU is currently 11. Notre Dame's 10. Miami's 12. Notre Dame and Miami are both not playing this weekend. BYU is going to drop, right? Which means that Miami's going to go up. And now you have Miami next to Notre Dame. And Miami beat them head to head. And now there's no more buffer in between them. So will the committee put out a final ranking, right, on Selection Sunday? That is Notre Dame 10, Miami 11, when Miami beat, I know it was a long time ago, it's still a regular season game, Miami beat them on Labor Day weekend. Will that happen? The other scenario that I think we need to consider, if Duke wins the ACC championship against Virginia, Duke will be a 5-loss conference champion. Duke is not going to the college football playoff. Duke's out. So now the committee has to ask itself, are we going to shut out a power conference from the college football playoff? Does the ACC get no teams in because Duke won the conference championship? I think the answer to that question is yes, and no team will make it from the conference. But I mean, are they going to sit there and say, we can't, is the point of the playoff to have James Madison and North Texas in? Or is the point to reward power conference teams? And does Miami get a spot to put an ACC team in? Now, again, the first thing I said in this answer was, I think Notre Dame will make it. But those are two scenarios that I think we all need to consider right now. And Miami at BetMGM is plus 400 to make the playoff. I don't want to make that bet. I don't think they're getting in. But I do think there's enough scenarios out there where if someone thinks that could happen, maybe you want to throw a couple dollars on the Hurricanes actually making it. I wouldn't, but I do think there's an avenue for them to make it.
Wow. Poor Duke. Don't they want to see Darian Mensah? By the way, all their losses, every single loss they have is their good team. Duke is, except for UConn.
I have to be honest, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't want to do like the Duke in the college football.
What about Texas? Nick, what about Texas? You any
out?
No, I know, but do you think there's any injustice there, or are you cool with that?
I probably, because they play a really tough schedule, but don't lose to Florida. That's losing to Ohio State, forgivable. Losing to Georgia, forgivable. Losing to Florida, unforgivable. So don't lose that game. Sorry.
But Alabama's, you're fine with them losing to Florida State.
Texas lost 3 games. Bama's lost 2.
Come on, it was opening week against Ohio State.
But Texas lost to Florida. And they have 3 losses, and Bama has 2. And by the way, Bama could lose 150-0 on Saturday to Georgia, and Bama is still in.
I agree
Bama,
with you.
It's not dropping out of the play. You can't have a team. Bama is the number 1, and I'm only saying this because a lot of people are, Bama's out. Bama is the number 1 seed in the regular season of the SEC. Bama will be wearing the home uniform against Georgia on Saturday, right? They play for a conference championship in what is one of the 2 best conferences in college football, and they're going to get dinged if they lose that game. There's no way.
So wait, I'm just curious.
In with a loss.
So just so we're all clear here. So Texas losing to Ohio State does count, but Miami beating Notre Dame in week 1 doesn't count. That's how.
Well, so if it were me, I would put Miami in over Notre Dame.
Is that one
I
counts?
would do it.
Okay. So you do count week 1.
I would put. I don't understand.
No, I'm saying people. The argument is they're not counting Miami's win over Notre Dame as impactful because it was all the way back in week 1, but they are counting Texas's loss to Ohio State as impactful because it was all the way in week 1. So it's kind of a hypocrisy.
To me, the Texas thing is Florida, and that they got embarrassed by Georgia. That's what, for me at least, that's what it is. I don't think Texas is take care of business and beat Florida, and they're in, and there's no question.
Georgia had to run all kind of sneaky plays though. They had to do
the onside kick.
Onside kick, going forward on 4th down all over the place. They were playing like a desperate team. They kind of tricked Texas into the win.
They won 35-10.
Yeah, but it was the win probability shifted to Texas at the end of the third quarter. Kirby did all kinds of funny things.
Perloff, are we doing this? We're not. Right?
He's doing this. We're not doing anything.
I'm just saying,
He's
that
doing
final
something.
score of the Georgia game, we all know that's not how that game played out.
Well, I got to tell you, I bet on Texas, and that is how the game played out. That's someone who bet on Texas.
Nick, thanks for doing this on a Thursday. Have a fantastic weekend. Appreciate all the advice, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, just I'm laying Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, and I'm laying Georgia in the SEC title game. Let's get it. Wishing everybody minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck.
Okay, I like that. Actually, I think it's 4 right now is that Big Ten title game, and I think it was 2.5 for the SEC. I got to double check. Anyway, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's go.
You could bet on them? I thought they were considered exhibition games now, those conference championship games. All right. One way that you can follow the games and have a great time is Prize Picks, the best time of the year for it. So many sports going on, holidays. Keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On Prize Picks, all you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. You know what's new, Maggie? It's totally awesome. They now have early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may have the option to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes. So this weekend, you don't have to stay up for the end of the SEC title game. Just get out.
I should have used that last night. I didn't, but I'm back on the horse today. I'm going to make a small tweak to my lineups tonight. I still love fading LeBron James, which is not something I do often, but 37.5 points, rebounds, assists against the Raptors tonight. I'm going to fade LeBron. And then I thought about Dak Prescott's passing yards. Give me George Pickens, more than 5.5 receptions. I think this game is going to be a shootout. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout, like EJ said. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think both teams come into this game thinking they need more than 30 points to win, and I think George Pickens is going to have a big night. If you want to play along with us, come on in. The water's fine. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code MNP. Get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code MNP on Prize Picks. You get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. So win or lose, you get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Mand P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. You can't hear us, but EJ and Maggie were not arguing, but talking about
They were at each other's throats. Let's be honest.
I know.
Yeah.
We're about to tear the show limb from limb.
the CFP rankings.
No, I was saying that was a good point that Nick Costos made last segment, which I did not think about, which is if Duke wins the ACC championship game, would they really leave the entire ACC out, or would they put Miami in to kind of throw a bone to the conference? I did not thought about that.
How old is your son?
6.
Have you asked him about the delicate international situations, maybe about the Ukraine-Russia peace deal?
Yeah, all the time.
because whatever his answer to that has as much logic as the CFP committee. I mean, you're giving them way too. All this talk about logic. Who the heck knows? I just was going to tell you, Bruce Feldman has been on fire on social media. Just wrote a column for The Athletic. Here, the title is "The College Football Playoff Rankings Reveal Has Become a Clown Show by Any Metric." And Bruce Feldman, who is straight down the middle, is like, these people have no idea what they're talking about. So applying logic to children is a mistake. That's all I'm saying. You guys can break it down any way you want. I'd still be shocked if Notre Dame wasn't in there. And I'd be actually disappointed because Jeremiah Love is amazing. Are you kidding me? We got to have him in the playoff. And I still think I want Texas in there, too. I could probably lose Oklahoma. I could probably lose Alabama if I had to.
If Perloff was the czar of sports, it would drive people absolutely insane. But you could ask my kid about farm subsidies. He's got a lot of very interesting things to say about them.
Well, he'd have more interesting things than the College Football Playoff Committee has to say about college football.
Let's get to Bogusch, who's got headlines.
Lions-Cowboys tonight in Detroit is not short on playoff implications. It'll be blowout city for the loser in terms of their chances to make the postseason. Dan Campbell needs his team to get going in the right direction.
The margin for error is small, but it's doable. We can do it. And but we got to eliminate the things that keep us from winning before we can actually win the game.
The Lions have lost 2 of 3, including at home to the Packers on Thanksgiving, and they've got that long injury report for this one, including wideout Amon-Ra St. Brown questionable with a low ankle sprain. Yesterday in Milwaukee began with ESPN reporting that the Bucks and Giannis were discussing their future together, maybe leading to a trade. Then Giannis dropped to the court with a right calf injury just 3 minutes into their game with the Pistons.
I didn't know what it was, so I just wanted the trainers to attend to him. And right when they brought him in, they took him to the hospital.
From the spin doctor to actual doctors, Giannis will get an MRI today, but Doc Rivers did say last night they've already ruled out an Achilles injury. As for the game, the shorthanded Bucks still won 113-109 over those Pistons. Hours after starting their divorce from Chris Paul, the Clippers won in Atlanta 115-92, snapping their 5-game skid. The Spurs now 7-2 since Wemby strained a calf, 114-112 winners in Orlando. And Jamal Murray took 11 threes last night. He hit 10 of them.
Murray has it for 3. Yeah! That's a 50-piece for Jamal Murray of Indiana. Nuggets lead at 128-112.
Jason Kosmiski on Nuggets Radio. Murray finishing with 52 in this 135-120 win in Indiana. Men's top 25 action. Number 6, Louisville losing for the first time, 89-80. At number 25, Arkansas. 22nd ranked Indiana also losing for the first time this season, 73-64 at home to unranked Minnesota. And the Utah Mammoth snapping a 4-game skid in style, 7-0 over the Ducks. Back to you guys.
Bogusch, thank you for that. Let's welcome in our next guest. John Talty is a national college sports reporter for CBS Sports, wrote a best-selling book with Armin Katayan, who we love around here, called The Price. It's all about college football, and John had some great reporting on Lane Kiffin and the recent move to LSU. John, good morning. How you doing?
Good. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you so much for doing it. Now, you had this behind-the-scenes story about the last few weeks of Lane Kiffin's decision to leave Ole Miss to go to LSU, including the details that Lane talked to Florida. Can you take us through the most important parts of that story? And if the meeting with the athletic director doesn't go a little better for Lane, is he actually the head coach of the Gators right now?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question because this is a school that he has had interest in going to for years now. And so he tried to get that job back in 2021, ultimately went to Billy Napier. He very much wanted that job a year ago when it was rumored heavily that Florida might move on from Billy Napier. They ultimately did not. This time around, that was the first big job really to open up that made sense for Lane Kiffin. There was early contact. I remember reporting that Florida had already been vetting Lane Kiffin even before they fired Billy Napier. So he was their top target from the beginning. And, I think if maybe there weren't other options, it could have still worked out. But I think especially once LSU opened up, this first contact between Florida AD Scott Strickland and Lane Kiffin just did not go well according to Lane and how he portrayed it to people afterwards. That doesn't mean that like the call itself didn't go well, it's just how he explained it to people. And specifically, Florida really wanted to hire a general manager with an NFL background. They ultimately did that with former Jacksonville Jaguars GM Dave Caldwell, but that was a non-starter for Lane. He didn't want that. He wanted to bring his guy with him. And so I think it's when you contrast Florida being like, hey, we want to do these things, versus LSU saying, do whatever you want, bring whoever you want, just do what you do and come to LSU and we'll make it happen. I think that kind of started shifting things to LSU. And certainly it's a job that Lane has wanted as well for a long time and is well aware of how good it is based on his previous time working with Nick Saban.
Did LSU, were they looking at Lane before they fired Brian Kelly in a similar situation? Has that gone way back, that flirtation with Lane Kiffin?
Not necessarily, because what's interesting is that the guy who fired Brian Kelly, athletic director Scott Woodward, was not a Lane fan. And so I think if he was able to actually do that job search, that Lane, like he would have, I'm sure, been on the list, but I don't know that he necessarily would have been his top target. And again, the last time he had a job search with Brian Kelly, he did not go down that path with Lane at all. So that's kind of one of the unique aspects of that one was, as you guys remember, the governor gets involved. The governor wants the AD out. Specifically references the contract that Scott Woodward gave Brian Kelly. What's interesting, of course, is that you could argue Lane Kiffin's contract is even wilder and could age even worse if things don't go well. But that's kind of where they're at with it. And so I don't know that he would have been the guy if Scott Woodward was not fired the way he was.
Pearl, did you hear that Lane Kiffin said he had a unique conversation with the governor of Louisiana? Lord only knows what they talked about on that call. John Talty is joining us. He's a national college sports reporter for CBS Sports and a best-selling author. Perloff and I were talking about the expectations for Lane at LSU are just going to be sky high. What do you think is the biggest obstacle standing in between Lane Kiffin and a national title with the Tigers?
Yeah, I think there's two things to look at. I think the first one is that Lane Kiffin is actually not the best traditional high school recruiter. We know he's the portal king. He has done very well at getting guys out of the transfer portal, but he is not the best high school recruiter. It's in part because he just doesn't really want to devote the time to it. I think he likes the fast-paced nature of transfer portal recruiting. In high school, it's like you got to recruit a kid for 4 years. Like that's not really Lane's style. So that's going to be really interesting to see whether he evolves at all, especially in a state like Louisiana, where like you got to make sure those high school coaches are treated well and that you have that pipeline coming to you. So that's the first one. And number two, and I think you hit on it there, Maggie, is like he has not faced pressure like he is going to face at LSU probably since the USC days. Ole Miss, I think, was very happy the way that he overachieved and exceeded expectations. It's not a school that's national championship or bust. They were just happy, I think, to make the playoff this year. At LSU, they fired Brian Kelly because they want to win national champions. Everyone is well aware that the three guys who came before Brian Kelly all won national championships. So that is the expectation. They expect to be in the playoff every single year, not a one-off. It has to be every year. Lane has not felt that pressure as a head coach in a very long time. So we'll see how he handles that aspect of things as he's kind of had this journey where it's been a little bit more low key and not, in that level of pressure spotlight.
John, Penn State, A, do you think they were going to make a hire soon? And B, why is it taking so long?
I hope they will make a hire soon. I think we all would love for that one to be over, who've been tracking it for months now. It's one of those things. What's interesting is that sometimes searchers are very straightforward and they're easy to cover. I would say LSU, Florida, easy. Auburn, they very much wanted John Summerall, ends up at Florida, but it was pretty easy to track what they were doing. Penn State's been a mess. It's been very difficult to cover the whole way through. You talk to different people in the industry, agents, search firm people, all people like that. And for weeks now, they've been telling me either there's going to be a mystery candidate that they're going to pull out of nowhere and it's going to be, wow, that was a great hire, or it's just going to be the mess we all think it's been to this point. I think it looks like the latter. It has been a mess. They have not, been able to get a guy that I think they wanted. This is a similar situation as LSU. You get rid of James Franklin, who took you to the national semifinal a year ago to win national championships. That's a very small pool of people that we think can help you level up to that level. I don't really see anybody on the board that fits that kind of initial desire. So we'll see what they're able to pivot to. But if y'all seen, I mean, their recruiting class has just been absolutely demolished. They're going to get beat up in the transfer portal right now. James Franklin's going to take kids from Penn State to Virginia Tech. He's already taken some of their recruits. It's been about as disastrous as a coaching search as I can remember, to be quite honest.
John Talty with us for just another minute or two. Yeah, it was Penn State's recruiting ranking yesterday was nestled between South Dakota State and Prairie View A&M. We're talking about Penn State, for goodness sakes. John, how are people inside college football viewing Arch Manning's first season as the full-time starter?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it started out with so much hype and expectations. I think there were some dips. And then I think if you've watched them the last few weeks, he's been very good. I mean, they're on the outside looking in right now in terms of the college football playoff. That is certainly a disappointment for that program overall. I think they were even my preseason title pick. Like, it didn't quite meet that level of what we thought it could be. But I actually think that Arch has come a long way. And I think it just shows that it sometimes takes time. Like, it's his first year as the full-time starter. We all thought he was going to be the greatest thing ever, and it took time. It looked ugly at times, but I think especially, watching what he did against Texas A&M, beating Vanderbilt, like Arch has been trending upward the last few weeks or so. And so I think that gives you optimism that, going into next year, if they can put some more pieces around him, elevate the offensive line, which has been a problem at times, that Arch can really maybe meet those expectations next year that we had for him this year.
John, and I know this is a boring topic to many people, so don't take too long on it, but Congress did not vote on the SCORE Act yesterday, this sort of bill that would, quote-unquote, save college sports. Do you expect Congress to ever do anything about college sports? They want to curb NIL or control in some way. Is anything ever going to happen here?
I've been asking people that for 6 years at this point. They keep saying like, yeah, we feel good about this one, and then it doesn't happen. So I think what's especially interesting about that one is that you had the 4 commissioners of the main big Power 4 all in DC yesterday, and I heard from some people around them, not a great time it's a very busy time in college sports to be up there thinking you're gonna get a bill through, and then it doesn't work out and it gets pulled from the floor. So I think the SCORE Act could eventually get through, but there's just a lot of different parties trying to pull in different directions, and it makes it challenging. And I think one of the things that really hurts college sports is that people can see the Lane Kiffin situation. They can see all these different issues popping up. It looks like college sports is out of control, which you would think would help. But then they're not all on the same page in terms of what they want. And so you go to Congress people who don't really know the issues, and you don't tell them exactly what they want, and they get pulled in different directions. So we'll see. I mean, there's still optimism from people I talked to yesterday, but it's 0 for 2 in terms of them thinking they're going to get a vote through and then it not happening.
John, we're big fans over here. Love reading you on CBS Sports, obviously of the best-selling book that you wrote with Armin Katay and The Price, which is excellent, about the chaos of college football. Appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because you have like all these major issues with college football, but yet all we can argue about really is should Notre Dame get in over Miami? That's the thing about college football fans. That's what we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about an NIL clearinghouse.
Well, they're all connected, though, because Pat Forty wrote about this. If the conferences weren't so big out of greed, then we would have schedules that made sense, so we would have common opponents. If Notre Dame, because of their self-interest, got into a conference, it wouldn't be so weird. Like, we have no idea how good these teams are. Notre Dame is a classic example. Their schedule is so bizarre because of the hybrid conference. Greed is you will admit, greed is usually the answer.
And it's the underlying thing in college football, and it has been forever. All right, 888-710-4ISN. Still love the sport. 888-710-4476. Coming up, let's get into Aaron Rodgers having to defend the Steelers yesterday to the media. We'll do it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Adrian Perloff. All right, we'll get to Aaron Rodgers in a second, but Pearl, here's a question. Would you eat this? Okay?
Okay.
This is a pizza order that has gone viral. It is one large hand-tossed pizza.
Okay. In so far.
Triple pepperoni.
I like it.
Extra cheese.
Okay.
Banana peppers, light jalapenos, half chicken, half mushrooms, half caramelized onion, half olives, light on the sauce.
Lost me.
I'm so far out on this.
Yeah.
Sounds
This
awful.
was the customer request. Bro, yes, I know this looks insane, and you're probably like, who is that dude? I'm the dude who has a very pregnant wife. I'm done questioning what she wants. I'm scared of her, and honestly, you should be too. I promise this is the order. Thank you and Godspeed. So just to recap. Large pizza, triple pepperoni, extra cheese, banana peppers, light on the jalapeno.
Okay.
Half chicken, half mushrooms, half caramelized onions, half olives, light on the sauce.
Can I say an unpopular take here? I know this is not going to go over well with this crew.
Oh, no.
Give it to me.
My wife likes to put peppers and hot sauce on everything.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't like having, I don't like super spicy, but it kills the flavor of whatever you're eating. So what's the point? It could be anything underneath that hot sauce.
It adds to it. It adds flavor to it.
I feel like it kills the flavor of the original
Well, that's
dish.
why you have to measure how, you're talking to a Mexican over here. You have to measure how much hot sauce and how much hot stuff you put on your food. Yes, if you put too much of it, it becomes inedible. But once you put just the right amount,
Yeah, my wife's like that too. She throws hot sauce on everything.
Oh, what a smart woman, yeah.
But you grew up in Buffalo, right? Frank's Red Hot.
The baby bottles.
Yeah, I feel like for my food, like I'd rather enjoy the food. And usually, I don't like super spicy. I have a very delicate palate.
But also one of my favorite things about just adding spicy on spicy is the sweat that you get afterwards. It makes you feel like it's a workout and makes you feel rewarded afterwards.
No, the hot peppers clean out your system. But here's my question about this order.
Stuffy nose?
You go half chicken, half mushrooms, half caramelized onions, half olive. What half goes with what half?
All that is good. I like all those combinations.
But what is it half chicken and mushroom on one side, half caramelized onions and olives on the other?
It's too much protein.
No such thing.
You have triple pepperoni.
You can't do triple pepperoni and chicken and mushrooms.
Pepperoni doesn't work well with other meats.
I agree with that too.
Nobody puts pepperoni and ham together.
Well, have you ever had an Italian sub? Beg to differ.
I don't love Italian subs, to be honest. That's a hot take.
Me neither.
Dude, oh my gosh, you guys, you just haven't had the right one.
Nah, it's just not for me.
I'm from New York. I think I've had
the most Italian people make our sandwiches.
And I lived in Philly for a year. I think that's two of the best spots I could probably have.
It's not mozzarella around here. It's mozzarella.
All right, so I guess you guys are out on this.
That sounds super gross.
Yeah. I mean, when you started
a heavy pizza.
When you started reading this, I was like, oh, the guy must be pregnant.
No, his wife is very pregnant. He said, I'm scared of her and you should be too.
I don't think that's even a pizza. Like, that's got to become a calzone when you put that much stuff in it.
Wait, real quick. Margaret, when you were pregnant, what was the craziest thing that you had to tell Andy to go get?
So lots of pizza. I actually had to restrict myself to doing pizza once a week because I would have eaten it every single day. And I planned the place and I went to all these different places in New York City and it was like my big thing. And I've craved very spicy things. I was hitting every Dan noodle in the city. It was as hot as they could make it. Which is weird generally for pregnant people because you get acid reflux, but I was the opposite. I only wanted spicy food. So there you go.
Dan has two noodle shops. What's Dan Noodle? Is that a chain?
Oh, no. You got to get the Dan noodles, Pearl.
It's a kind of noodle?
Yeah, it's like a sesame noodle, but way better. Get on board, man.
I'd rather that than the mushroom.
Half mushroom, half caramelized onion, half olive, half chicken.
How many halves are there in this pizza?
Yeah, there's a famous joke in my favorite movie, Caddyshack 2.
It's not famous then,
where he
but
goes,
go ahead.
What's your background? He goes, well, my mother, she was half Irish, half Jewish, half Italian. He goes, that's 3 halves. He goes, well, she was a very big woman. See?
Rim shot.
Give it a shot, guys.
Doo-doo-ch.
Jackie Mason was funny. Pearl, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, right.
He's pretty funny. Actually, he's really sour this week. He's really grumpy. Aaron Rodgers actually kind of funny.
So there was someone who put on social media with him with the bandage on his nose that Aaron Rodgers looked like he tried to rob Kevin McAllister's house. Very funny reference to Home Alone.
What is funny now?
That's funny. It's more of a visual gag. He looks like Joe Pesci from that movie. But Rodgers is like... they're going through it in Pittsburgh. And I think here's the thing. It's all outside noise generally, but the product on the field is also not good. Here's my question. Do you think this is more likely to be a galvanizing thing for the Steelers? This is Mike Tomlin can lean into his us against everybody type stuff, and Rodgers can feel a little of his mortality or whatever. Maybe he comes out firing. Or do you think this is something that dooms them?
Yeah, I lean more towards the dooms. I feel like now the goal has changed from Super Bowl to playoffs to hope that Aaron Rodgers actually survives a single week. Like, it's going downhill fast physically. That's the problem, right? I do not see this working out well. I mean, listen, they always win this game against the Ravens. This is a game that Mike Tomlin has won about 6 years in a row. When
this one's in Baltimore.
Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't matter. When his back is against the wall and everyone's given up on the Steelers, they always win. So if they lose this one, then we know it's finally over. Because this is usually a situation where Tomlin pulls off a 19-13 win. It's always 19-13. Look at the book. So maybe TJ Watt wins this game for him, but it's not going to be Aaron. I just do not see the upside anymore. He looks terrible because the left hand thing is affecting him throughout his entire game. He can't even hand off to half the field.
Yeah, I feel like the offensive line has not been great at times also. So is this a lot of Rodgers or is it the O-line?
Throwing so quickly because of that, right?
Yeah, and obviously he's called out his own receivers. Like, we're not running the right routes and people are not. Apparently he meant to say people aren't bringing their all to the film sessions. Not that they're not showing up, but, you got to make that clear. Thank you, EJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez. Fantastic job today. Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan as well. Thank you to our guests, Nick Kostos, who joined us, to John Tolte, who joined us, and our former boss, Spike Eskin, who joined us. What a day it was. It's the Maggie and Perloff Show. See you tomorrow.